What up, y'all? This week's episode, we had Mowery on. She's a jiu-jitsu competitor out of Kingsway under Gordon Ryan and John Danaher. She moved down here when she was only 18 to follow her dreams, to be a jiu-jitsu competitor. She has an incredible work ethic. She has a great head on her shoulders. Her parents did a hell of a job raising her. She's awesome. She's one of my favorite people. She's also baby Logan's babysitter. So we enjoy her. We're happy to have her. I hope y'all enjoy this conversation. And as always, we have shirts. What's Up Brodey podcast shirts. DM me on Instagram to get your shirt. And if you want it shipped, I'll ship it as well. Thank you guys and enjoy. We're going to clap together. It's got to be in sync. Now you're going to fuck with the video. Oh my God.
I'm sorry.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. Hey, let's fucking go.
Good.
Autumn, what the fuck's up, dude?
I am good. Getting back from
Why you get all shy now? You just been screaming in my ear for like 30 minutes.
He called me out for being loud. Now I'm trying to like whisper a little bit. I gotta fix.
No, I'll just set a hard limiter. You're good.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll add a compressor, hard limiter. I got the audio.
It's that bad.
Let me not get cocky. But
you got the 4K setup now.
Ooh.
And he's like getting all cocky about everything.
No. Look, here's the point. Mm-hmm. The point is you have to get better. Always.
Yeah, for sure.
You have to constantly be innovating, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you got to do it in steps because you got to test everything. And we've already had some fumbles. We fumbled on Big Dan's episode pretty hard. But now
his episode out of
it's
all
rough.
Them,
I know.
And that one's special. I mean,
I know. Yeah, you don't got to rub it in. Yeah, I know. I'm well aware. But
I mean, from the clips I got, it looked
no, it was pretty awful.
Great.
It looks good, yeah, but the audio is terrible.
I mean, I think we're also like self-critic. It's much worse.
No, we recorded it off the phone.
Oh.
Yeah, we never changed the audio source.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was bad. The only reason why it sounds even what it does is because I sent it off to get professionally done.
Oh.
Yeah.
How much did that cost?
Thankfully, he didn't charge me. He was being a sweetheart.
Okay.
Because he knew I fumbled the bag for sure. But
it happens though.
It does happen. But yeah, he does music producing, and so he was able to like sharpen it up as best as he could. But since then, what was that? Next episode was Jesse. That episode sounds good, right? Not great, but good. And then Travis's episode sounds good. Almost great. Andrew's episode that comes out Monday sounds phenomenal. It sounds really fucking good.
Been pushing out a lot of podcasts.
1 a week.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'll eventually go to 2 a week. And
That's
then
great.
3 a week.
Yeah.
At some point, right? But again, everything has to be in steps. 2 a week, it doesn't really make sense until there's more traction, right? But the podcast page, the actual Instagram, I mean, between the 3 accounts, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, just the podcast now. I used to count my main page to like trying to inflate the numbers, but just the podcast page across the 3 boards does just about 100,000 views a month.
Wow.
So that's
bad. Still pretty good, yeah.
It's not bad. And
I mean, especially for how long have you been in it now?
So this is technically episode 58. But I mean, it's the 18th episode back. So really, It's only 18 episodes. Because all the episodes before this doesn't really count.
That makes it even better.
Yeah, it doesn't really count. I just kept it going because it is under the same brand. Yeah, so the audio, I think I've gotten it down at least a little bit better. And then we added the 3 cameras, right? And the very first episode we did with Travis, that camera died because we didn't plug it in. Rookie mistake, right?
He was searching for that charging cable this time.
Dude, I know. I'm really retarded until I'm not retarded. And once I'm not retarded, then I'm good. But I'm retarded until I'm not retarded.
Is that like a choice or?
No, I think it's just a form of retardation.
Oh, there's like a form to be able to tell if you're like.
I think there's levels to it for sure.
I mean, I can definitely tell you there's levels to autism for sure.
Yeah, well, I don't know I wasn't talking about autism.
I mean, hey, when you call somebody retarded, I mean,
tell us, what does that mean to you, Autumn?
When somebody's retarded,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously it's saying that somebody's slow.
Because we hang out with a lot of people with autism.
That's very true.
And I don't think any of them are actually retarded.
I guess
a lot of them are really smart.
That is a good perspective.
I mean, I just had Man-Child on, and he is very autistic.
That I will give that man a lot of credit.
And he is
there is some autism
brilliant.
there, but he's also very open about it, and he's very smart.
Mm-hmm. Very smart. We played in chess, and he whipped my ass afterwards.
Oh, I bet. Actually, one of my training partners, Akila, she does MMA as well, and she wants to get into the UFC. She was doing a chess match the other day on the side of the mat at Kingsway, and she looks over at me and is like, I'm playing Daniel. And I'm like, what? And she's like, I'm playing Daniel in chess right now. Because, obviously, God love them, but Kingsway sessions are always a little bit late. So they're like sitting on the side of the mat playing chess. And she's like, he's beating me right now. And he's letting me I think he had pushed out some of his pieces. And he still beat her. And she was like, this is ridiculous. Yeah,
he gave me a takes backsies.
Mm-hmm, that's what they call it.
Yeah, he gave me a takes backsies. He was very sweet about it. And then he proceeded to whoop my ass. The second game was a little closer. Mm-hmm. He was kind of letting me work, black belt style. But we did have a much better match the second one. The first one was an absolute manslaughter. I was really, really bad. I'm, again, retarded until I'm not retarded. And so I'm still, I've just started playing chess.
Like your first time around, you're retarded. And the second time, you have a little bit of experience. So you're not as retarded. That's how it works.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. There you go. So that camera died. Awkward. But it lasted up until the last 30 minutes. So it's really not that bad. Right?
Oh, yeah.
And then Andrew's episode, we course corrected. We got a charger cord. Mm-hmm. That's long enough for that.
I see that now.
So that was the only reason why I wasn't plugged in, is because we didn't. Jesus.
Excuse you.
Yeah, excuse me. Fuck. We didn't have a charging cord that was long enough. And I was like, I think it'll make it. I was like, it should make it.
Yeah.
I was like, it's only a couple hours. And it should record. It wasn't even in 4K. I was like, it should record. And fun fact, it actually didn't die. Something with the lighting made it stop recording. So it actually didn't die, but it did only have about 10% left. So it was gonna die. But it stopped recording. It didn't actually die.
Now, does that have to do with something of the style of the phone, or how old it is?
I have no idea, because that is definitely an old phone. That's an iPhone 12. So we weren't going to upgrade to a multicam, because I was like, dude, we don't have 3 cameras. And if I'm going to invest in actual cameras, they're going to be nice ones. Because what is the point of buying 3 cameras, them being mediocre, and then you have to buy 3 more anyways? At least that's how my brain works. Probably poor logic, but
no, I mean, I think that's just about right, especially doing what you're doing. If this is going to be what you do, you might as well have the nicest stuff.
Well, nonetheless, it's fun. Right.
Yeah.
It's so much fun.
You have nice little toys.
Yeah, you're going to have fun. Mm-hmm. You're here.
I know. This is fun. I'm actually enjoying it.
Right?
I know, the conversations I know we're about to have, I'm like, I have a feeling. I know the questions that may come up.
You have no idea.
But he may pull something on me. I don't know. And I'm going to be stunned.
You might. No, there's no gotchas. We're just going to talk.
You never know.
And then my brain just goes in tangents. So those tangents, that could lead us anywhere.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. I'm like, oh God, I wasn't prepared for that one.
The tangents could go anywhere, right? We could end up talking about anything, right? Mm-hmm. It sounds so much better. The AC just went off. No, I closed it. Fuck. See? That's those are the things
just the little things.
Yeah. But
it does sound better now that you said that.
Much better. And it'll sound much better on the episode too. But anyway, so we upgraded to the 3 cameras. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, all right, we ran that now 4 episodes. Mm-hmm. So.
And I mean, do you think you'd ever upgrade even more than what you have right now? Or have one specific camera? I know this one is back to me and that one's back to you. Would you have a bigger, nicer camera for the one straight on?
Eventually. The camera Jack has, where it's crispy as fuck.
That's big money, yeah.
That'll happen.
Or not big.
That'll happen.
That's a nice toy.
So that'll happen with all 3 of them eventually.
Oh, that'll be fire.
Right? Yeah, it'll be fire. But what I was getting at is that, so since we've upgraded just the camera layout, and now I've posted clips of both of those episodes, I haven't even touched
Manchild's episode or the episode after it, which is Cosmos, and then now you, I haven't even touched those. Haven't even started posting with Manchild. And just with the clips with Andrew and Travis, the viewership, just by changing the look of it, by making it vertical instead of having the horizontal and then the blurry background, the views went up by like 600%.
Wow.
Just by changing how it looked.
I thought you were going to say like a small percentage.
No, like 600. Massively. So like for instance, TikTok never got more than like 100 views on TikTok just because I have like 12 followers. I don't push it. I just post on there.
It's a completely different algorithm.
It's just a completely different fan base all together.
Yep.
But I still post on it. You never know what will happen. I still post on it.
Right.
And the very first clip that I posted with this new format, it got 1,000 views, which is still not a lot, but going from 100
between 100
to 1,000, and now almost every single one after that has been above 100.
Wow.
And then I gained like 5 followers just off of that one reel on TikTok.
That's awesome.
People I don't know, like it's not people people that I know, right?
TikTok,
I push.
It's kind of different from reels. You know, the shorter the video, and actually Jack was one of the people that filled me in a lot on this. Was like, I had posted a TikTok a while ago, and it was actually my first fight for main character in Miami. And I had put together clips from the actual video taken on Flow. And he was like, the idea is good, but you have too many and the clips themselves are too long. He was like, to you, you're a jiu-jitsu athlete, so you understand why you had it that long and what you're doing. He was like, but to the average person, they don't get that, so you're not going to get that fan base because it's too long and it doesn't keep people's interest. And I was like, you know, I might try to disagree with you on a lot, but that one was right. So,
which is fair, but at the same time, fuck it, dude. I try not to stress too much about all that because it takes the fun out of it.
It does. Yeah, that's why I'm like, when he told me, I was like, but I don't want to do that. You know, like I just want to put my clips together. Yeah. I just want to post it to some music and be like, there you go. You can like it if you want.
But to his point, though, like when a highlight reel, they do want it to be like snappy. And so if there's a takedown, they want just barely before the takedown and right as you hit the mat.
As it ends. Yep.
And then that's it. And then it should be cutting to something else. So like, I definitely get that from like a highlight reel. When I make highlight reels, it's definitely very snappy. But for like the podcast clips, look, I'm just going to post what I think and what she writes down as the timestamps, what she thinks is interesting, what I think is interesting. I did rage bait with one clip the other day, and it did get a lot more traction, but I was like,
okay. Rage baiting.
Yeah.
I've had, like, as of recently, so many people try to do that to me. And it depends on my mood. It depends on what? Rage baiting?
No, like rage baiting you how?
What did Mario rage baited me the other day on something he did in the car? Oh, because he's actually, so this is funny. He isn't fully colorblind, but colors to him are not the same that they look to me.
Yeah.
So especially when you put 2 and 2 together. So if you put the dark blues over there on the books and the light blues together, and then that green, and probably a darker green, he wouldn't really be able to tell the difference. So for instance, we were talking about his car, and it's like, to me, it is a mix between gold and silver. So it's kind of a mix. It's not super bright in gold and it's not super vibrant in the silver. And we actually were sitting in the car arguing about it, not arguing, but having a laughing, intense conversation about it. And as I was looking at the cars next to me, one was bright silver and one was bright gold. And I was like, oh, that's a coincidence. Would you look at those two? One is silver and one is gold. And if you mix those two together,
Gilver,
that is your car. And he was like, you do understand that I know what color it is, but because I can't see properly, I just rage baited you. And I was like, you're an ass.
Yeah, see, I meant like the internet.
Yeah. But I mean, those things are great for the internet. I think people think that those things are funny. So, depending on the subject, right?
They are, but it's like,
I guess to certain people, maybe different, depends on the topic,
it's just more like, I don't know. But, But yeah, I did post something that was like, I kind of even took my own self out of context, which is kind of funny because like you see people taking people out of context and like posting it like, rah, 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 rah. I kind of even took my own self out of context. And I posted a clip about Mandami in New York. And it did what it was supposed to. It definitely did what it was supposed to. It did really good on Instagram and then did really good on TikTok and on YouTube Shorts.
I bet.
But I was like, it's kind of a bad habit. Like, it's just not worth it. It's like defeats the purpose. Like my goal is to shed light on things and spark conversations, which now, to be fair, the clip itself was rage baity, but the caption was literally just like, what are your thoughts on this? It wasn't like rage baity in the caption, right?
Right.
But nonetheless, it did really well. But yeah, so we're in 4K today. So that's the next step. So 3 cameras.
Yes.
We made sure that could work. I made sure that I could edit it all, which is a tedious process. Takes like 5 hours to edit it because you have to manually switch the camera angles. So it all goes into one timeline and then you just press 1, 2, or 3. But then I have to re-listen to the entire episode.
I see.
Which is not bad because by the end of the episode, I barely remember what we talked about at the beginning of the episode. And there could have been something that you said that taught me something, right? Or somebody taught me something, but I barely remember it. And so now getting to re-listen to it, not only do I get to really hone in what clips I want as I go through it, I'm like, no, that actually is really funny.
Yeah.
Or, oh, no, that was really good. I also get to like remember what we talked about.
That makes sense.
Because again, by the end of it, like 2.5 hours later, you're like, fuck, what did we talk about an hour ago?
Yeah, I can tell you, I'm not going to remember what we're talking about right now by the time we get done in 2 hours.
Exactly.
I can tell you for sure that's not happening.
Exactly.
I completely see what you're saying.
Yeah. So it's so that is actually kind of the benefit of it. So it's been pretty cool doing that. But it's been also just fun learning how to edit, which is interesting because the reason why I didn't do it before when the guy who was doing the producing left, the reason why I stopped doing it is because I didn't want to do the editing. And then now here I am doing editing and like even have clients that I edit for. And so it's been a lot of fun. Lots of learning things.
About the whole like shoot me something and I'll make it.
Yeah, I have some. Some people. Yeah, I have some people and it's just fun. It's a good little side gig.
I mean, do you do that basically all on like your own, or do you like study some videos, listen to some things, and add to what you already know?
I probably could study more. A lot of it's just been playing around with it, and just kind of learning as I'm going, and definitely getting better as I go at it. So that's why the clips will slowly start to have like different looks, and I'll start playing with it. One of the things I did for one of the clips that had like the wide shot at the top. And then I had the rest of it was just me talking, but then you could see both of us at the same time. And then me talking, I got the idea I stumbled on someone's Instagram who has a podcast and they post their clips. And that was one format that they used. And then another format that I saw yesterday that I thought was interesting is actually taking the wide shot and zooming in on the person. And then because it goes back to what Jack is saying. You want the camera to kind of flip back and forth so that way it keeps that engagement. On the long form episode, I really don't care that much. It's just going to stay on whoever's talking. And if that person goes on a long monologue, that just is what it is. But for the clips, I saw Chris Williamson actually do this. He would take different angles. So like if you're the only one talking, so obviously that camera is the one pointed at you. But what he did was he took from his wide shot, zoomed in on the person, so it kind of got like their side profile, and then it flipped to that camera. And then like halfway when you were done talking, when you were still talking, it flipped to his reaction of you talking. And so he's still keeping kind of the engagement. Yeah,
I can see how that does it for sure.
But it does add an extra layer of like, it's just a time thing. Yep. It's just a time thing. It's just like trying to find the time, being productive with the time, being manageable with the time. And that's the part that I'm still getting better at, making sure that I kind of have an idea of what it is that I need to get done that day. But yeah, none the fucking less, dude. You moved down all the way down here by yourself?
The big question. Yeah. I mean, that was definitely a big step for me. I think back home, I was in a spot where I was working and I had goals, but I definitely didn't know like what I exactly wanted to do. Because at the time I was like working for my dad in his auto body shop, and I was making good money working hourly for him. And I enjoyed it because I became smarter in knowing how to talk to people and communicate and deal with customer service, because that's a different realm of people. Like when somebody has a big situation like that happen to them, a lot of the time people don't realize how threatening that is, like to their lifestyle, right? When you come in and your car is totaled, that's a lot to the average person. You know, if you're well off, sometimes it's not really worried about as much, and you know the people that come in like that. But it taught me how, I guess the word isn't sympathetic to some of those people.
It's
but
empathy.
Empathy. Yeah. I figured out how to be more empathetic to people like that, and then figure out how to communicate off of it. And I also had to, even the people that would be upset, you know, and we're dealing with things like that, I also had to also be able to tell the truth and be like, hey, like, unfortunately though, talk about insurance. If you're not going to go through insurance, and how much it's going to be. And because we were a family business and my dad is a great guy, you know, there's some people that he would do really good things for, but it did teach me how to communicate with people like that. I had to work with insurance companies. I had to figure out how to start writing estimates. That was a big thing for me. Ordering parts off of different websites. Just a lot of different little pieces that taught me a lot of things. So that was great at the time, but I knew that it wasn't really what I wanted to do. And so again, I was kind of in the middle of figuring that out. Like that was something that my brother wanted to do, and he definitely wants to be in that business, and he wants to work on cars right now. And then he wants to one day, you know, take over the business and buy it from him and be worthy of that and hold that role. But I knew that that wasn't something for me. Obviously, I just didn't know what it necessarily was, because I went back and forth between, I did college for a little bit because I wanted to do physical training, a little bit, something along those lines, maybe for like a professional football team.
Like physical therapy or personal training?
Personal training. Yeah, that's what I wanted to do. So like, for instance, if I really wanted to go to the Ravens football team with the degree that I was about to get, the associates, I could basically go to them and be like, hey, I have this nice little degree to maybe help persuade you a little bit, but this is, you know, what I'm offering as a personal trainer. And then that would help be able to get me that job with them. So that was what I was thinking at one point. I did a few classes, a few credits for that. And then yet again, I went to my parents. I was like, this isn't what I want to do. I don't want to go to college. I think that it's a scam. That's another really big conversation, but I knew that it wasn't for me. And so I was kind of in the middle of figuring all of that out.
Yeah. How'd your parents respond to that?
Not going to college?
Yeah.
They were actually really open to it. I think because I graduated early and because I was also working, I was also homeschooled. They knew that I was a pretty productive person. Like I always wanted to have something to do. I had goals. So they wanted to keep me busy. So at the time, that was really how it started, was like, well, if you don't really know what you want to do, let's find something for you to do. And let's find something that you don't have to leave for. You don't have to do anything crazy. You don't have to pack up your things and go anywhere, obviously just yet. But they were like, let's try this. And I was like, I think I could possibly find that interesting. I was lifting full time. I was training twice a day, still back home. So I knew that I wanted to do something definitely in the physical aspect of things. So I thought maybe that was it. And then when I did come to them, they were like, I think my mom heard it for sure and was like, oh, I really don't know like what to do, if it's best for her to stay in it. Because I think if she doesn't, she definitely needs to find something. And we need to start figuring that out. And then definitely she talks to my dad, always goes through the both of them. And they did come to me, and my dad definitely communicates a little bit better. I love her, but she knows that as well. So he came to me and was like, hey, your mom and I talked, and I get where you're coming from. And if this isn't what you want to do, I understand, but I want you to start figuring out what you may want to do. He was like, I'm proud of you for how you're doing at the shop. Because I was definitely moving along. I like slowly and got progressively better at the job itself. Because being in the office is a lot. We had 3 girls back there, and you know, it was all three of us had to do everything. We all didn't have like one specific job. We had things that we were good at, but it was a lot. So to me, that was really important to make him proud while I was there. So I was really focused on that. He was like, I'm proud of you, but you need to start finding something. He was like, you don't have to go to college, because he also didn't go to college. I think that there was maybe like 1 or 2 years where he may have done something, but at the time his thing was football. And long story short, he had a bunch of offers and that didn't go as planned because he decided to do something else. But he was like, I understand if that's not what you want to do, but we need to start. And then probably just a few months, maybe a year later, I was still working. And then I was like, I think going to Texas and possibly seeing if jiu-jitsu may be a thing professionally, if there's really good schools, let's just maybe make a trip and like see if I like it there. That was literally just the idea. I was like, let's go see if like I like the area, if I like some of the schools. So I went and trained at Fight Factory. I went to Henzo's. And then I went to House with Dan. And that's where everything started. Because it was nice training at Henzo's with John. But, you know, he sees so many people in and out of that place while he was there.
Yeah.
Oh my God, so many people every single day that obviously say that they want to come train and then they don't, or they don't have the work ethic to put in to
Gordon
even.
was just talking about this. He just posted a clip yesterday talking about this.
I can imagine.
Yeah, he was like, John's not going to talk to you for the first 6 months.
So
Unless you're there every single day.
And which was so amazing to me, because I'm kind of like cutting a big portion of the story, but we'll come back to it. When I did get there, I actually had this like crazy moment. I think, you know, when I first got there, I may or may not have hit an illegal move on what is now one of my close friends. And at the time, I hear the Gordon Ryan. He's like, Akila. And she's like, yeah. And then he calls my name, and I was like, oh, shit. And I was like, what'd I do? And I was like, because I was thinking, you know, they train really hard. I wouldn't know why these moves aren't illegal. I should have asked before I did that.
So for those who are listening who don't do jiu-jitsu or don't know what she's referring to, she's referring to a Kame Basami.
Kame Basami?
Yeah, Kame Basami. And it's a scissor takedown.
Correct.
And essentially, you're jumping into the side of someone's knee. And there's ways to do it.
So much hate for this.
There's ways to do it correctly, but it's very hard to it control.
But at the time, I did it completely wrong, yes.
Yeah.
And so I got called for that. And Gordon tried to show me in the moment. But at the time, I like didn't grasp what he was saying, because obviously they teach different than what I was really used to. Even how Dan teaches, both amazing, but just different. So when he was trying to show me in the moment, I wasn't fully grasping it. And he was like, I'll show you after class. And in the moment, I was like, fuck. I was like, I'm so scared. And then we get to the end of class, and John literally calls my name, which I didn't know that he knew yet, and calls me up by my name and is like, shows it to me. And then he's like, come up, and I want you to do it 3 times. And I did it 3 times correctly, because I had actually seen the proper way to do it before, but I hadn't done it enough to, when I was doing it in roll, live, to actually use it live. So I was like, oh Lord. So I did it, and he was like, nice job. Just make sure you use it properly. And I was like, I'm so sorry. Thank you. And he was like, of course. And I went and sat down, and probably a week or 2 later, I don't even think it was longer than that, I remember drilling with Hannah Griffith it was a random weekday, and he goes, Autumn. And I'm like, what did I do again? Like, oh my God. And he pulls me, and he actually had like a sit down conversation with me, like, hey, he was like, how old are you? I was like, I'm 18. And he was like, okay, still young. He was like, and I've heard that you want to go out and compete and you have competitive aspirations. And I was like, yes, sir. And he was like, world champion level. And I said, yes, sir. And he said, okay. He said, we're going to be watching you for the next few months to see your really good points, your really bad points, and then go from there. And it was something along the lines of that. And afterwards, I remember going back to Hannah, and she was like, girl, that's really good. He doesn't talk to people. And in that moment, I was like, wow. I was like, that I was a bit overwhelmed at the time because I didn't know if it was going to be good or bad when he called me up. But it ended up being really good, and I've had a great experience being there so far. I feel super comfortable going up to John and asking him questions. I remember asking him, like, rolling through how to get into inside cross Ashi, and that was great. He answered it, and he was like, let's go back and try it again. And I was like, okay. And I was like, thank you. And he's super nice. And Gordon is too. I remember him actually like checking in and asking about like how my ankle was doing when it was hurt and I had messed it up again. And he checked in on me, and I was like, that was nice. So it's crazy coming from, because I know they have so many people that come to them on a daily basis that are either retarded or aren't willing to put in the work ethic, or just spitball, right? Like what they're telling me is absolute like bullcrap. It's that they won't actually do any of it. So I know that was something that maybe I shouldn't have looked into too much, or maybe not been proud of, but I was like, this is a good thing. Like if they see me, like I'm going to put in a lot of work to be here. Obviously I need to do my due diligence, right? That's not like an easy, like, oh, they see me, they think I'm good. Like, no, obviously at that point, if they point you out, you better be working even harder because they're paying attention to you. So
doing an illegal scissor takedown is a great way to get noticed.
It is.
It's kind of smart.
I don't know if smart is the right word. I think in that moment, going back to the retarded statement, that was definitely me on a random day.
Boy, good thing this is not monetized. I'm pretty sure you can only say retarded like a couple times in a row before it has to be bleeped. Yeah,
you're gonna have to bleep. Yeah,
no, I mean it's not monetized, so it doesn't matter. But I remember Kill Tony watching. I remember Tony Hinchcliffe talking about it. He was like, because they had just changed the rules maybe like a month ago, and I remember him talking about it. He was like, "Dude, if you say it again, then I gotta bleep it. It's too much. Just stop, knock it off."
I feel like in the community
they added
that
a few
we're
words.
in, it's passed around pretty frequently.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah.
But yeah, crazy. Actually, when I think about it, I was telling somebody about kind of this story and try to make it as short as possible, but I was telling them about everything just a few days ago, and I like after I said it all out loud, I was like, it's actually crazy, because like I'm super hard on myself, but I'm like, the amount of things that I've also just received, you know, my parents helping me, being willing to support me, and then also, you know, I did put in work in order to be here. It's not just gifts, so I'm not just naturally gifted.
No, dude, you work incredibly hard. It's why you're sitting right here.
Thank you.
Well,
but I just
not for this,
extremely grateful.
That's why you're here in Texas, right?
It's crazy. It's all been within a year. Like
since
March, not even a full year.
Since March, damn. So I met you when you just moved down here.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Because literally the first month I met you at Johnston, Cedar Park, and actually Ethan was the one that was like, I have a blue belt for you to beat up, and I was like, perfect.
yeah.
I meet Jordan.
Yep, that was me. Yep.
So
I knew zero legs, and so Autumn would just fucking heel hook me over and over and over and over and over and over again. It doesn't go like that anymore. Nah.
Maybe not over and over.
Not over and over again. Maybe one.
And that was like when I got here, I had done leg locks back home, and I was like, ooh, nobody's really doing them. I thought I was like getting good at them. And then I came here and I had Dan teaching me, and I was like, oh my God. I was like, this is a different world, and I'm intrigued about it. Yeah. Like I just wanted to deep dive into leg locks. And I definitely think that there's certain things in my leg lock game that have definitely gotten better since I've been here. But yeah, at the time when I first got here, I was like, yes, leg locks.
No, your jiu-jitsu is good.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, your jiu-jitsu is good. You work fucking hard. It's cool to see. And it is cool to watch you continue to grow. It's fun watching you compete.
Thank you.
I think you're getting better as a competitor. I think like competing is a skill of its own, regardless of how good your jiu-jitsu is or like how good you are at something. I think competing itself is its own skill. And I think that takes time to hone in and to learn.
And I think it's something that constantly changes. And I didn't really realize that, honestly, until I got here. Like, I knew back home because I had also, up until I started jiu-jitsu, been a dancer. So I was always on stage and I competed yearly, like all year round, or I was at a convention doing classes. So I was either up on a stage or up with 300 girls down on the floor dancing to get an award. Like, I was competing to some degree yearly. So I was used to that. But then when I got to jiu-jitsu, after like my first few years, I thought I figured out how I competed, who I did well with being around me. Like even the little things like what music I needed, how close to the time frame of the match that I needed to be there, like just the small things, right? And I thought I figured all of that out. And then I feel like that's all definitely changed for me, being, maybe not all of it, but being here in Texas and the way we train now and the way I'm even being taught by the instructors. It's just, everything's just changing for me for sure. Like even perspectives on winning and losing and how you talk to yourself before and after. It's all been very different. So that's definitely been.
What's an example?
Like, for instance, I think the past few months for me, competing hasn't been great. If that's me being like honest with myself, I think the first few ones I lost, it was okay for me to be like, okay, this is all really new. I'm basically relearning jiu-jitsu, right? But now it's kind of like, I lost, I messed up these things, and you need to get back and you need to fix them, because it's like, to a degree, right? It's okay to lose. It's okay to make mistakes, because again, you can't just win and then grow. That's just not how it works. Obviously, everybody knows that. So, but in this sport, I'm still young, so I think that there's that determining factor as well, which is nice for me. I think when you're 35 or 38 doing the sport, or a little bit older, I think sometimes the losses can hit a little bit different, but when people see losses back to back to back to back, connections change a little bit. And I even noticed that with some people, even at like opens for ADCC, for instance, like the more I go, the more people I do know. And I'm like, after I compete, even if I lose, my parents joke, they're like ready to dip. And I get stopped by like 10 different people now. And they're like, hey, how'd you do? They're like, I did this. They're like, oh, so-and-so's over there. Like, I end up talking to like 15 different people that a year ago I was like, oh my God, that's so-and-so. But I think that outsiders or people watching the sport, obviously, if you don't understand it, a few losses, like people do see that, obviously, like, oh, this person's plateauing a little bit. And it's like, that's not good, So I think that's just like a perception thing, not necessarily for yourself. I would say a thing that has changed for me with competing, also the level of competitors. Like what I was competing with back home, nowhere near what I'm competing with now. Like my match with Taylor, for instance, she was one of the top seeds, if not number one, and placed second at trials. But, top seed, people that I'm competing with on a daily basis now, especially because the sport's growing. So going into that, sometimes if you're not mentally strong enough to, still be fully good when you walk on the mat with people that, might be better than you, sometimes that's a little mentally rough, and you have to figure out how to change your mindset.
Yeah. How'd you feel knowing that you had drew Taylor Highshaw first round?
It was I actually wasn't really worried about me being like nervous to go against her. I actually was talking to my coach from back in Maryland, and I looked at him, I was like, I had people coming up to me being like, I think this is going to be a really exciting match. They were like, I was like, I do too. And I was like excited because I was actually like, I know Taylor's good. And I was like, I do think I'm a little bigger and stronger than she is, because she typically competes, I think, around like 135. I at least know for the main character she did. I think Trinity was in the higher, even though she sits lower. I know that she was like she sat at the 145 and Taylor did lower than that. So I do think that she's a little bit lower. She just didn't want to cut to the lower weight class, which I don't blame her. So I was like, I think I'm a little bit bigger. I'm a little bit stronger. And I was ready to have like a scrappy match. I wanted to wrestle a little bit and then wanted to pull. And it just didn't end up going my way. But I was actually ready. I wanted to have that match. And I was like, I think this will be really good. Win or lose, I was like, at the end of the day, I just wanted it to go the distance. And it didn't, unfortunately. But I know I'm definitely going to see her again in the future for sure.
But that's also, I mean, it's a great experience. It's a great learning experience nonetheless.
It is. It was just short for me. I think that's why I was so disappointed, because I went to my parents. I was like, I'm not even upset because of like the submission or, you know, not winning. That wasn't the point for me. The point on why I was so upset and disappointed in myself was because I know how much work I had been putting in. I know the injuries that I've been dealing with, and I know how bad I want it. And I was like, I'm disappointed because I didn't get to show off those things.
Sure.
And I didn't get long enough. And, you know, I would have, and sure, everyone's going to want this and want that. And you want to win and you want to have a submission. You want to have a highlight reel, right? And I know those things don't happen, but bare minimum, I wanted more time to show off that I belonged there. And I didn't necessarily get to do that day, which was why I was disappointed.
Sure. Which I think that's fair. Mm-hmm. Right. But again, on the flip side, you drew the arguably first or second seed. Mo Black might have been first seed. She might have been second.
May have, yeah.
But nonetheless, she finished second for a reason.
Correct.
She's competed on Who's Number One. You haven't been on a Who's Number One card. She was a great high school wrestler, college wrestler, high school wrestler. High school, yeah. Great high school wrestler. Mm-hmm. Like I think she won state, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not fully aware. She was a very good high school wrestler. Mm-hmm. She's also never lost a jiu-jitsu match until Mo Black. Yeah. So, and I think there's that fine line between being hard on yourself, mm-hmm. but there's also that fine line of not making excuses at the same time, which correct. I think you have the right mindset, right? Where you are being hard on yourself. I do think that is the correct mindset in order to go to the places that you're trying to go to. Mm-hmm. But on the same thing, I mean, outside of getting Mo Black first round, it doesn't get any harder than that. And
I got a few of those reminders.
Yeah, so then you also get that experience. And there's always West Coast trials. You're still you're 19 now?
18.
You're still only 18 years old. Look. Yeah. Look. You're still only 18 fucking years old.
19 in December. But
right around the corner. By the time this episode comes out, you might be 19. But it's good that you're hard on yourself. Mm-hmm. But it's also good that you've gotten these reminders before, because it is important to remember. You're 18 fucking years old. You train with the best team in the world. So you have to trust the fact that you will get better. You know you will get better.
And it's so hard when, again, you're competing against the best of the best, but you are 100% right.
You're also within that grasp, right? If you competed with arguably one of the best females in the sport right now, she's definitely up there. I would say she's at least top 15 across all females.
Be ranked. I think she's ranked. Yeah.
Across all females, across all weight classes, she has to be up there.
I think somewhere along the lines. Yeah, I haven't seen that
she
ranking
is
yet, but
dominating.
Yes,
so she's doing really well, right? Mm-hmm. And so it is just how the cookie crumbled, right?
Correct.
But you just came off a win right before that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And obviously it's trials, you want to do really good, but you still got 15 years in this motherfucker.
That's true. The other thing is East Coast trials, right?
You can't even win. We don't
even qualify.
You can't even book. So really, it was just a tune-up.
And they booked me like to West Coast trials, but not EDCC, right?
It was just a little, warm-up for
That's
you.
all the girls
you're gonna come back to West Coast.
When I was like, "Are you doing East Coast trials?" They're like, "I don't know. It doesn't really qualify." Mo, I'm just saying. That's a lot on why some females don't do it, because it doesn't qualify. Yeah. I'm just saying. Yeah. I think 2 years ago when I did East Coast, I had made it in the top 16, but the numbers in our division were like 30s and 40s. Like the women was small. This year it was 80, 90, 120.
That's good.
Something crazy. Yeah. Now, The heavier weight division was smaller. I think some girls are deciding that, like, I don't want to fight if I'm sitting at 155, 165. I don't want to fight females that, not all of them, because there are some that are still very young.
Oh. What we got? Oh my God. Twitter fingers. Get it the fucking together, dude. What am I paying you for?
Oh, Lord.
She's number 12.
Dang, overall. This is not even in the weight class. So she's ranked number 12. You went against the 12th best woman in the entire world. Right? And then you train with probably 2 of the other top 15s.
It is.
Oh, yeah. Actually, can I see these
Okay, that's
rankings?
wild that Helena's not on this list.
Well, that's 135. I think
this is 135.
she's 145. Yeah.
Got it.
She might have used to been, but she's been 145 for a while.
But you do train with Anna.
Anna, yes.
Right,
Trinity. Mm-hmm.
So you train with 2 of the girls that are on here, and then the other 2, you got Hannah and Helena that are both ranked in the top 15 for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
And so, look.
I mean, Helena's like, I think number 1 right now.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
145.
as she
Hannah
should
is
be.
up there. So
As she should be, right? So you're doing incredible.
Thank you.
But I love that you're hungry and that you want to continue.
You have to be.
Because then you got
Yeah,
Maka,
Helena's one right now, 145.
and then you got Maka on there as well,
Sarah.
also in the top 20. So you train with
That's
5.
awesome,
Taylor's 14 and
Elizabeth
145.
Clay.
Yeah,
14 at
so-
145, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Look, you did good. Obviously not the result that you were going for.
Yeah.
But
Looking
you-
forward to West Coast trials.
But you also went out and did the damn thing.
Yeah, the weight cut was not fun.
At the very end. Like at the very bare minimum, dude. You got out there.
Bare minimum,
It's an intimidating bracket.
It is for sure. Like the 145 bracket now, it's honestly like the weight that I sit at, I really debate honestly fighting up.
Yeah.
Like, it's actually crazy. Actually, Jocelyn, I've actually gotten pretty close with her now, and we always see each other like, hey, like, how are you? And she's training at Kingsway now. She just moved. She fought heavier. She's only 13, 14 years old, but she sits at like 155. I think maybe a little bit heavier, maybe a little bit lighter. Her dad doesn't want her to cut, which is totally understandable.
Not at that age.
No,
Not at
and
that
she's
age.
only
It's
going
not worth it,
she's
dude.
only going to put on more mass. Like she's a strong girl.
Yeah.
And she's still growing, which is crazy, so that's understandable to me. But she fought heavier at that weight with grown women that are like 200 plus pounds. I remember actually fighting one of the girls she fought, the girl that she actually lost to this time around. I think Maya, is her name, Mentalone, or however you say her last name. And, I remember that's a big girl. She's a big, strong girl. So it's like...
That's a big, strong girl.
That's a big girl. When girls are sitting like 180, 200 plus, it's like, oh, that's not fun. But you just have to figure out how to fight them. And the division, the amount of people, the difference in that number is just crazy, right? Like the 145 division is, I mean, it might have been like 80 girls, right? So we have many more fights. I still only would have had, because I got a bye, which
I
is
saw that.
great. I appreciated that from ADCC. And I think, is it Jay that does some of that? So if that was him, I appreciate Big J. But the way the brackets are just laid out, I still would have only had one fight on Saturday. And then if I had won, I would have gone right into Sunday. So I was like, great, cool. But Jocelyn only had a fight on Sunday because the bracket was so small.
Yeah.
It's like, is it worth fighting bigger girls that may not be as technically sound, but are bigger, are stronger, but your cardio has to be up, you have to be quicker, you have to be on point, right? If you're going to be a smaller girl fighting big girls, I think that there are some things to pay attention to for sure, if that's what you're going to decide to do. But there has to be a decision that like I make soon. And I've talked about this with my dad multiple times because I've never really known where to go. I've been pushing 180 and I've fought really heavy before. And when I was doing it, I hated it because I hated the weight, and I've been a bottom player from guard for a while, but I also didn't know how to fight them. And again, I was fighting from my back, and weight when you're on your back is not fun. And for instance, a good example of this is Jocelyn, right? She fights from top and she wrestles and she gets snaps and she gets behind, and she has a strategy for bigger girls, which is perfect. which is why she's doing amazing. That's not the only reason, right? But she has a really good strategy for that. I didn't at the time, so I hated it while I was doing it. So I was like, I'm going to cut all this weight. And I did. I cut like 35 pounds.
Yeah.
And I feel great. I feel much quicker now. I feel leaner. My cardio is definitely better. But it makes me definitely rethink whether I should put on some mass, be a little bit heavier, put on lean mass, and be really, really strong and figure out how to fight those girls quicker and at a different level, or cutting. So I've always kind of been in in between because I've always been all over the place in weight. I've literally gone from like 165 to 145 to 175 to 155. So I've been all over the place. I just never have really been able to make a clear decision.
Yeah, but this is the time to figure it out. Again,
yeah.
You're 18. Fucking
correct. I know. Sometimes I forget that.
You'll
but
figure it out. You'll figure it out. You'll know exactly what weight class you want for the long term.
Mm-hmm.
You'll figure all that shit out. It'll work itself out. The big, like, I think weight cutting fucks with a lot of people in the mentally, because they're really, man, like there are people who just decided, fuck it, I'm not going to weight cut at all. And they've been very successful.
Right.
One example, Kurt Angle. He did not cut weight. Oftentimes, he wrestled up a weight class because he just didn't care. He was like, I'm not going to cut this weight. I'm not going to put my body through that.
That's like what Dante Leon's been doing. He's been fighting up at like Worlds, I think Pans maybe, or something. Not Worlds just yet, but he did it at Pans and maybe Jiu-Jitsu Con. I forget which one it was, but that's what he did. And he went and won the whole division. I think he fought up like maybe 2 weight classes. I might be mistaken. It is, I mean, not cutting that weight. Everybody knows if you've cut that weight, that next day you're still not 100%. Not 100%.
You're not 100%. It's almost impossible to get back to 100%. Weight cutting, that is like the absolute worst part of combat sports. It is, should be outlawed. It should be illegal. It doesn't need to happen.
If we can figure out how to do that,
It shouldn't happen. Well, it takes a collective effort, right? But again, I think people get so stuck in their head about weight cutting, right? Like I've competed now at 190 the last 3 matches. Granted, they didn't go my way, but from like a physical standpoint, it's not. That wasn't why. Like it didn't make a difference.
Yep.
I at least felt better because then I didn't have to cut the weight. Right. But then now I'm like, maybe I'll go back down to like 175.
Yeah. That's kind of where I was at.
But at the same time, it's like,
is it really worth it?
It wasn't that reason. It wasn't that. It's not for that reason. It's just I think I feel better at that weight.
That's kind of where I was.
Like again, being quicker, faster. But still being really strong. Like when I'm like 175, like for that weight class, I am strong. But at 190, it's much more of an even playing field. And I'm like, I don't like this as much. You're also strong. I don't like that.
Right.
Because these guys are cutting from like 210. Especially the guy. I would say all 3 of them cut a pretty good amount of weight. They were bigger than me for sure. And so they're probably cutting from 200 plus. And I'm like, all right, y'all are definitely bigger, but you know, from like a strength perspective, that wasn't like why they won.
Yeah, for sure. No, I get what you're saying.
And so it's like, you know, is it really worth it cutting this weight? Because I cut a little bit of weight for this last match in San Antonio. Actually like overcut on accident because I sweated way more than I thought I would in the bath. Ended up cutting ended up cutting like 4 extra pounds. I know. I know.
Cutting weight. It's so aggravating. That sounds so sexist, but let me just tell you, that's like Dominic, right? Dominic and I cut for trials. I knew that he was cutting like 13 pounds and I had like 9 or 10 to cut. And he was like, but we're about even. It ends up working itself out. I'm like, that was mean. And then he cuts and he was like, it took me a few hours. And I'm like,
But how'd you do it though?
So I had probably 2-3 days before I really lowered what I was eating. I didn't fully water cut just yet because I was like, I don't want to feel like crap for a long period of time, right? Because I want to still prioritize.
You should still be loading. You should still be loading.
And so I was loading. I was loading up until like 2 days before.
Yeah, and then you cut it down
because I still had like 8 to lose.
Yeah.
2 days before.
Yeah.
And for a female, that can be a lot.
That is a lot for a woman.
It definitely also depends on, some people don't realize, but it does depend on what time of the month it is for a female.
Yeah.
And luckily it wasn't for me, but even supplements you're taking changes all of that. And I take a bunch of different supplements. It's pretty regulated now because I've figured out what works for me and what doesn't. But at all makes or breaks it. And so the day before I stepped on the scale and they were like, all right, let us know what you are. And I got downstairs and I was like, oh, I'm still 150. I'm still 149, 148. And I was like, oh Lord, this is going to be bad. So I remember we had brought a travel sauna in my checked luggage. And I remember going between hot bath, sauna, and I did something a little bit different this time. Instead of fully suffering in the sauna, I would do 15 in, 15 out, and wrap myself in towels.
Yep. And
I had a sauna suit.
Yep. And
I cut about 5-6 pounds in probably, if I got ready for weigh-ins around 5-ish, and I started probably at lunchtime. So within 5 hours, I cut 5 or 6 pounds, which is good. But by the time I got to that last pound,
oh, it's awful.
It was pushing.
Yeah.
That's why I was
and nothing's worse when you start to feel like you stop sweating.
Yes.
Because once you stop,
it stresses you.
Once you stop, you're done.
Yeah.
Your body was not. It's not going to just.
Then if you don't have time,
yeah.
because you only have 2 hours before weigh-in, it's not like you can go take a nap and then come back and cut more. Because then your body will release some more fluids if you go and sleep. But if you don't have time for that, you're screwed. So that was really what I was also worried about. But luckily, I made it with a little bit of the guy that was weighing me in gave me a little bit of a hard time over me having shorts on.
0.1 pounds. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a story too.
Boo-hoo.
But talk to Mo, talk to Caitlin. They're
know.
Girl, we're
that
not
that is crazy. You're in extra clothes. Because for guys, we can just weigh in our boxers. It doesn't matter.
Right.
No one cares.
I'm sorry, but unless you would like me to, I didn't think that you all wanted to see me in a thong.
Yeah.
I'm trying to wear as little clothing as possible. So I have biker shorts on that I don't wear booty shorts. So it's I have full biker shorts on, my underwear, and a bra. And I'm trying to already put it on as little as possible. I'm not trying to strip.
Yeah.
So, and I think once
0.1 pounds.
Caitlin had made that point and was just check her in. I was thank you. I really appreciate you.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for you. But yeah, that was in its own. But weight cutting itself, that's also why I've debated. Because I know that there's a lot of professional fighters that don't cut weight anymore.
Oh, yeah.
And they do just as well.
Yes. So that is, I think that's always been the argument, right? I think mentally people assume that they have to cut weight in order to perform well because they want to be bigger, they want to have that advantage. But at the end of the day, everybody's fucking cutting the same amount of weight. You're not going to be that much bigger. You're not going to have any advantage really, as if y'all just competed at your normal weight.
Only if they're not rehydrating properly. The proper way to rehydrate, which I just recently found out, and it has helped me the past 2 times. My father actually did this research, and he came to me, and I think it's half of your weight you are supposed to drink in ounces after your weigh-in within the first 2 hours, I think. And that's a lot of water for, 2 hours. And you're supposed to put it should either be a Pedialyte or have electrolytes or salt in it. So, I've chugged 2 Gatorades, a Pedialyte, my Magna stuff that I drink now, which I love because it doesn't make me feel bloated. But I drank that. I remember having jugs of water. I put down so much. And at the time, it doesn't make me feel bloated. But that is mathematically the only way you're supposed to properly rehydrate.
I'll do 2 scoops of electrolytes. So it's about 2,000, but almost, it's 1,700 milligrams of sodium in a Stanley that size, and just knock that back, and then I'll refill it, knock that back too. So naturally, I guess I kind of just do that intuitively, but that makes sense.
And honestly, that's probably not even enough for you to rehydrate. Realistically,
more,
because I thought months ago that I was rehydrating properly, and my dad told me that number, and I looked how many ounces are in a Pedialyte, and I was wow, I gotta put down
that's pretty small,
way more of these.
Yeah.
And even like a Stanley, what's like 40 some ounces?
About
It's
40-ish,
like, that's not half my weight. It's not even half of half. So it's not even a quarter.
Yeah,
so,
that's fair.
I mean, as long as that math is correct, but I remember that's what I did last time, and that's the math that he had
Did
told
you feel
me,
better?
So. Oh, yeah, for sure. I remember, what was it? I weighed in at 145 for main character, and I didn't do that. And I still felt good because I didn't have to cut as low, but I still felt off. You know, my cardio, my lungs didn't feel as good. But after I rehydrated I felt pretty good. I mean, trials wasn't that long, but my more recent competitions, I think we had an open in New Jersey too. I drank that same thing and I felt much better. So yeah, if you rehydrate properly, it definitely helps, but correct, you're still not 100%.
Yeah, you're still not 100%. And again, like the people who have just said, you know what, fuck this, dude, I'm not giving in. And they've kind of like, you know, they're kind of standing their ground and not cutting weight. They still perform.
Right.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Like there's so many examples of it. But again, it's so ingrained into the sport, and it's mostly because of wrestlers. It's so ingrained into the sport at this point. It's so hard to get people out of that mindset. But again, like the math just doesn't math really. It doesn't. All y'all are doing is just cutting down. And then when you rehydrate, both of y'all weigh the same anyway. So you should just compete it at that weight. Like what a waste of time.
Right. And
your kidneys. So that's where I was getting at. So when I cut all that weight, I actually did my ways to well blood work the next week. It was kind of poorly timed. I should have pushed it out another week. I didn't even think about it. Because I did 16 pounds for Fight to Win. And that was getting to the point where I was like, ooh, okay, this doesn't feel too good. Mm-hmm. But usually like 6 to 8 pounds, I can do it in one bath, and it like maybe like a 45-minute bath.
That is so frustrating.
And it's like, well, you know, I sweat a ton.
Yeah, thank you for rubbing it in. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Just one bath. You know how much I sweat in one bath? That takes me like at least 15 minutes. I don't know how long you're sitting in there, but
I do like 30 to 45 minutes.
Still, I only cut like 0.5 when I'm sitting in there for 15 minutes. That's extremely frustrating.
Yeah, but again, anyway. I sweat a ton. Like I sweat a ton. You've rolled with me. It's a water bath, bro. Here. Yeah, it's like sitting there waterboarding you, dude.
Oh my god.
Like so I'm very fortunate in that regard that I do sweat a good bit, and so it does come off. But I've also learned that the sauna is just extremely inefficient. Like I just don't do the sauna for weight cutting purposes. I sit in the sauna for health purposes, but like weight cutting, the hot bath is 1000% the way to go. It's the reason why the Dagestanians do it. It's the reason why that camp does only hot baths. It's because it is the most efficient way, and science actually backs it. So the pressure, sitting in the hot tub, the pressure of the water actually makes you sweat more. And so the hot tub is scientifically more efficient than sitting in the sauna. Because I'll sit in the sauna. I did an hour in the sauna one time, and it was only like 4.5 pounds. Yeah. And I was like,
I wish.
This is terrible. But then I was like, this is terrible,
it's miserable.
Dude. I was like,
the one we have has the head that like can pop out, so I don't have to like sit breathing in it. But no, I can understand that because I remember sitting in a hot tub for one of my opens a long time ago, and I cut way more than I would in the sauna. So
yeah, the tub is definitely more efficient. I always like whenever I take fighters down to like Houston for Fury, we always just do the hot tub. Just just turn the bath up to as hot as you can tolerate, or even just a little hotter and let it cool down. But when you get in there, it should be pretty hot, but it shouldn't like burn you. Get it to be hot. Sit in there and take the towel, put it in the water, and then drape it over your head. And you're going to cut that weight very quickly because it's going to make you start sweating. As soon as that towel hits your head, you're going to start sweating really quickly because it's just so much heat, so much trapped in. So that's always been the most efficient way to do it. But I did, I did the weight cut, overcut. It was dumb. And I was just like, I don't know. I was just sitting in the bath and I was on my phone, just not paying attention. And then I was like, dude, it's been a minute since I've been in here. And so I got out and checked my weight. I needed to be 185. Yeah, 185. And I was like 181.9. And I was like, oh, and I felt like shit. And I was like, fuck, dude. And so weighed in and then drank water. But then I did my blood test for waist well like a week later. And so like a few markers came back revolving around my kidneys and liver came back bad. And I was like, why? And then I was like, oh shit, because I just did a weight cut the week before. And so I probably should have pushed that back, but it was interesting to see. It was interesting to see those numbers being negatively affected. And it's just, again, it's the part of the sport that I just wish would not exist, or there should be, I think one tries with the hydration clause. There's ways around it. Everyone's going to always try to cheat some system. It doesn't matter what system you put in place. Someone's going to try to cheat it. But I do think there should be something in place that just does not allow you to do that. I know
it's just hard to then, put that into place. That's going to be a really hard thing to do.
It's harder for jiu-jitsu. It's harder for jiu-jitsu because, well, there is no overseeing body, and there's so many different promotions that people compete for. So there is no one overseeing body. It's like boxing. But when it's like the UFC or one, they can implement this because it's just one governing body. And usually those are like MMA cases in the sense, even now with one in jiu-jitsu, you're going to have this match a couple months before. So what they do is, I think Fury has started implementing this with their fighters for MMA, is they make you do check-ins at a certain point throughout the time. So like say you're a month out, you can't be more than 8% above the fight weight. And so they're trying to put in these guardrails to stop people from just doing all of the cut at once at the very end. Because again, that's what we're going to do. Like if I have to be, if I was to fight, let's say I was going to do 170. I'm like 188 right now.
Yeah.
But you best believe a week before, I'm going to be like 185.
Yeah, correct.
And then I'm going to start starving myself. And then 2 days before, one day before, it's just going to be water gone. 15 pounds out. Weigh in at 170 and be 170 for about 2 minutes.
Literally,
But you can't do that if you have to do these check-ins. You actually have to diet down, get leaner versus just cutting out water, which I think is the better way to do it. And I think performances are better. Like at the end of the day, the goal is to have good matches and better performances. And someone cutting 30 pounds versus someone cutting 6 pounds, that performance is going to be drastically different. So as a promotion, I feel like it's very incentivized to try to find a way to limit this so that those matches are as good as they can be. Now, obviously, something like an ADCC trial, something like where is the tournament based, it's a little harder to do this. There isn't this foundation yet in jiu-jitsu as a sport. But as more and more people are signing on to just UFC, or if they're signing on to just who's number one or whatever, then you can start to put these structures in place. Right? It's going to be tough where the sport is now, but as the sport grows, I think a lot of things are going to change.
Oh, I can agree. Right. It's like weight classes in general.
Yeah.
It's like even for...
It's always been tricky.
Yeah. I mean, for ADCC specifically, it's one of the biggest companies right now for jiu-jitsu. I can't say but it's one of them. That's what people go to trials for. There's that many people trying to go to trials to try to make it ADCC. Trials isn't just another tournament. Obviously,
it's
everybody...
It's the tournament.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like, for us women, I don't really know, what opinions are made about this for the men's division. I've heard a few opinions about like, I wish there was this number for men because it's like a 15 or 18 pound difference.
It's either 169 for me or 193.
Yep, that's what I heard. I think Dominic was telling me about that. And I was like,
crazy.
And I think it's like the 169 to the, 66 kilograms, which is 145. I mean, that's still a pretty crazy difference.
That is.
So it's like, I think that's what he was telling me about, because it's either that he sits or Dominic cuts. And he cuts as of right now.
Yeah.
So, and it's like for female, you're trying to tell me that you have a 60 kilogram, a 65 kilogram, and then just up. And then I get the people that I tell that to, and some of them try to argue with me, and they're like, this like 10 female, like athletes
do they compete?
Pull up the ranking list.
Are they competitors?
Yeah, I'm like,
who are these people that are arguing with you?
oh, like my old coach back home actually tried to argue with me about it. And I was like, I changed his mind, but I was like, there's no way you can sit here and tell me about that just because you don't watch it enough, right? And I love him so much, but we had this argument and he was like, you're right. And I was like, I know, because just because you don't watch enough of it doesn't mean that it's not there, right? Look at the rankings. Like, you're trying to tell me that there's not 15, 20 top females in just one bracket?
Yeah.
And you think you think it's maybe a good idea to just take only 8 of those to the actual tournament? I don't know. I think there should be a few more. I'm not saying it has to be a huge bracket or bigger than the men's. But
I would argue that there's more skilled women as a whole in jiu-jitsu than there is even in MMA yet. MMA is very top heavy for the women. When you watch women divisions and women MMA, the top women are really, really good. And they're usually a lot better than the rest of the women. But I feel like in jiu-jitsu, at least at the moment,
there are girls that are really close.
I feel like there's a lot of girls that are very close to each other. I think, look, at the end of the day, like, I think women's combat sports are way more fun to watch than any other type of women's sports.
I can agree with that.
Like the WNBA, unwatchable.
Sorry.
It's unwatchable.
I mean, I don't want to sit
outside of Caitlin Clark, it's unwatchable. Yeah. Actually, I think there's one other girl now that's been lighting it up. I don't remember her name. I don't remember her name. I don't remember her name, but she is. It's definitely not Angel Reese. That's for sure. Fuck, dude, she's terrible, dude. She's so terrible. She gets put on this pedestal, and it's so crazy. Well, anyways,
talking mad.
Yeah, she's and she is not good.
I don't watch enough of it.
Highlight reels. There's highlight reels of her just being awful and awful. Huh? Yeah, low light reels. Yeah, exactly. Dude, I mean, it's bad. It's just botched layup after botched layup after botched layup. I mean, dude, she's like 2 points. My buddy Reggie calls her stat sheets me bounds, because all she does is miss a layup and then get her own rebound. And so her rebound numbers would be like 13 to 14 a game, but she'll have like 2 points. And so she just me bounds. That shit cracks me up every time. There's a Twitter account called NBA Centel that literally just roasts her all the time.
I don't even want to know how it like.
Did you see the Gatorade ad for the women, the WNBA?
I might have.
That said,
I don't watch enough TV.
Let them cook.
No, I don't think I have.
Oh my God, it was so.
Taylor, pull it up.
Dude, I know. Taylor's over there with a baby on her titty. Otherwise, we'd totally pull this up. But they had a Let Them Cook campaign.
That's really upsetting. At that point, I might have to retire.
Who greenlit this? Like, who? What board of directors at Gatorade were all sitting around at the table and like, okay, we need a new campaign for WNBA. We need a tagline. We need a fucking tagline. Ball out. No. Be great. No. Let them cook.
That's the one.
That's the one. Like, I don't fucking understand how they sit around all these top executives.
I mean, I guess
running this super popular company, and then you come up with Let Them Cook, and then they blasted it everywhere. They made towels. It was all over downtown New York. Let Them Cook, and boy, dude,
I think I would have to quit at that point.
Twitter went to work, just roasting them. It was
that's the spot.
It was incredible. It was so bad.
I'd be like, that's done for me, guys. I got enough views.
Let them cook. Oh my God. You're already trying to prop up a sport that nobody wants to watch.
Yeah.
And then you come up with the tagline, let them cook. But all that to be said, I think women's combat sports are pretty fucking fun to watch. I love watching women's MMA just because y'all traditionally don't have the power to knock each other out. And they beat the fuck out of each other.
I think that's sometimes what people miss. It's actually, I have said that before. I'm like, sometimes I think it's not interesting because women don't typically knock each other out. It's more of either submission or decision. Yeah. Right. But that is a good point.
Lots of decisions, but dude, they beat the hell out of each other. They go to war. Because with women, that do combat sports are typically fairly vicious in nature, right? Just in general, right? Like it's always this fine line rolling with females because especially with like you and Taylor, who are bigger women, y'all are strong. A lot of weight.
I was about to say,
a lot of weight.
Going? But he flipped it around.
A lot of weight sitting in y'all's legs, right?
Pause.
And if your legs get under us, y'all are moving us. It's not up to us at that point. If y'all's hips get under us, just like if vice versa, if y'all's hips get under us and you're able to bring your knees to your chest, you're lifting us up. I'm not 240 pounds.
I guess I'll take that as a compliment.
I'm a normal size adult, right? Like I'm not 230 pounds. And so it's always this fine line because, again, rolling with y'all, it's like, okay,
Here we go.
I don't want to give you the shoulder of justice, but then if you go too light, you just get your shit rocked around because y'all are so strong. And it's always just trying to find this like fine balance of like not trying to kill you, but then also not trying to get killed.
Yeah.
And it's tricky.
Kill or be killed.
Yeah, it's true. Okay. I'll remember that.
I mean, I'll
remember that.
I mean, but like that's where it's like hard to determine that's a controversial topic in jiu-jitsu. I mean, it's been controversial for like ever.
It's tricky.
I mean,
it is tricky.
It is. And especially if you don't.
Because no one wants to be the dude that hurts the woman.
Yeah.
No one wants to be the dude in the gym.
But I'm not going to use the word again because I don't want us to get, kicked off or bleeped out. But if there are some guys that are slow and don't have the cues, they don't understand cues and don't know how to change how they're rolling based off how I'm rolling. Because some of the guys I don't come at like full speed. Yeah. I know who to roll with and how to roll with them. That's like, for instance, if I'm at Kingsway and I'm rolling with Landon and let's say like maybe James Powers, Dominic, like they have a different speed than an average heavier guy, right, that's in the gym. So I have to roll with them a little bit differently than I would roll with them. Like Landon, my rolls are super fun. They're all over the place. We're in legs, like takedowns, all over the place. So it's great. It's fun. And we kind of flow, but we're working the whole time. Like I at least stand up and I'm like, that was a good roll. And we're like, yeah, that was fun. But there's just, I think certain people, especially if you don't know, right? You come into a gym and there's somebody that is new. I personally don't like to go balls to the wall right away because then I think that can get turned around really easily. And I also don't want to be the girl that somebody talks about like, she went crazy right off the bat. Like, who is she? Like, I don't want to be that person. So it's like, okay, I'll flow with you and I'll see what happens. If you want to pick up the pace a little bit, that's fine. I'll pick up the pace too. It's not like I'm not capable, right? But if you want to keep it slow, flow a little bit, pick up the pace, I'm here for it. And then if you're showing me signs of like submission attempts, I had to escape one. Okay, cool. Now I'll latch on and I'll do some submissions if I'm able to. But I think some people don't realize how to do that, and that makes the topic a little bit complicated.
It really is a skill. Flow rolling is a skill.
Yeah, I can agree with you.
A lot of people really don't know what the fuck flow rolling means. Yeah. They all have this like different, everyone has their own like different definition of it, and I'm like, I feel like this is pretty intuitive.
Like, okay, so question for you.
Okay.
Does an average flow roll, when you're like, hey, do you want to flow? And somebody's like, yeah, does that include submissions?
It's usually like catch and release. You should be like, like they should know that it was possible, but then we should just keep moving. That changed
my perspective a little bit.
We should keep moving, right?
Because to me, I never really did. Because I feel like
not even like a showing it.
I definitely wouldn't say that I latch on to anything and then release. But I guess it's just the way that I've flowed in the past. I typically work through positional. But again, that just changed my perspective. I think that may be something important.
That's valid.
Like, it's there and move on.
Yeah, I think it's because when I think of flow rolling, right, I think of like, by no means am I sitting in side control for more than 5 seconds.
Oh no,
We should
Constant.
be constantly moving. We should be going from position to position to position. And so what I mean by like a catch and release is it's going to be something very quick. Like, right? Like I'm going to grab the ankle, boom, show it, and then I'm going to move on to something else.
I can agree
right?
with
It's
that.
just very much like, okay, you should respect it. Like you should know that, you know, but at the end of the day, the goal of a flow roll, I don't think is trying to see how many times you can tap somebody.
For sure.
I think it's more of like, let's see how many positions we can hit, and let's see how many different inversions we can hit, and how many different scrambles we can get into, and like, let's have some fun. Right. At least that's, that's how I've always perceived it.
agree.
Right. Like I
So.
just want to look, half the time when I'm rolling anyways, dude, the last thing
He's
I want
like,
to do is hurt.
guys, I don't even have to think about it anymore.
Yeah.
It just comes naturally to me. I've been doing it long enough. I
Not
don't even have to. I don't even have
Okay.
to double think.
flowing it did come fairly natural to
Oh
me.
Lord, here we go.
No, look, hold on. I have the data set to back it up. You ready for this?
Oh Lord.
You ready for
Somebody
this?
argued with him about this in the
No,
past.
hold on. No, I have a legitimate.
I want to hear it. I'm ready.
Lex Freeman told me I'm one of his favorite roles.
Okay.
Yeah, because he loves to flow.
Okay.
Because he's a black belt.
Mm-hmm.
He's a podcaster. The last thing he's trying to do is just get hurt during jiu-jitsu. And so he'll go to 10th Planet open mats pretty frequent, or he used to, right? He's back up in Massachusetts now. But when he lived here in Austin, or if he still lives here, I don't fully know. He just goes off on his like disappearing acts every once in a while, because I think the world really gets to him. But when he does show up to 10th Planet open mats, I've rolled with him twice. Both rolls, we just never stopped moving. And it was the exact same thing, like kind of like a catch and release, so to speak. Like, and it's not even so much necessarily that you're catching a full-blown submission. You're catching something, you're showing it, but then you're just quickly going to something else. You're like, you're not really actually trying to finish it. You're just like moving through the position. Oh, we landed in this arm bar. Oh, I could. And then we just go to something else.
You switch. Yeah.
And he told me I was one of his favorite roles.
I actually give people that's a good
I
point.
haven't
I
been-
can give it to you.
Everybody will tell you, oh, like flow rolling takes a very long time. I've only been doing jiu-jitsu
I don't
for
think it
two.
should take
I've
a
only
long
been doing
time.
jiu-jitsu for 2 years.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a lie.
That's not a lie.
Dang, she just called you out. It's time for you to take a sip of my drink.
Please tell me the math.
You started jiu-jitsu before me, and I've been living here for 3 years.
I understand, but you got to take into account the 6 months that I had to take off.
Getting spicy.
Yeah, she over there. Look,
No, I'm talking about the situation as
the
a
math
whole.
ain't even math.
Her math sounded like it was mathin'.
Look, 3 years. It hasn't even. It's been okay. So if we talk about from actual start date, it'd be April of 2022.
Okay.
But I took 6 months off, and so we're right at 2 months. 2 years and 2 months, because 2 years was October. So last month was 2 years of actually like training, being on the mats, not including injury time. But if you want to be technical, go from a start
I've had
date.
so many injuries.
If you want to go from a start date and don't take away any kind of injury time, because like during that injury time, when I say injury time, I don't mean like, oh, I was still drilling. Like I was physically off of the mats for 6 months total.
That's valid. Yeah.
So then it's 2 years. If you add in that time, then we're at 2.5. Whatever. Not a very long time in the grand scheme of things, right? And I feel like one of the things I do well is flow rolling. Because I'm not, look, I don't want to, I'm not trying to be the guy that hurts nobody.
Yeah.
The only time I turn it up is if the other person just has this strong desire to turn it up.
Yeah.
It's a frustration. So there's a thing in Muay Thai called sparring etiquette. And I feel like that's not always respected as much in jiu-jitsu.
Really?
Yes.
You think it's respected more in Muay Thai?
For sure. So, perfect example. Or at least this is something that we talk about more in Muay Thai. I don't know that it's talked about as much in jiu-jitsu.
I feel like that's maybe because
the consequences are different in Muay Thai. Getting knocked out is way scarier than anything that can happen in jiu-jitsu most of the time, right? Most people are more terrified of striking than they are of grappling. Now, what I mean by this is like in Muay Thai, we're sparring. And I throw a head kick. Obviously, with a head kick, I want to throw it at like 30%. So that means two things. That means A, it's not coming full speed to your face, and B, there's not a lot of power when it makes contact. So what that means on your end is A, it taps you, so it doesn't really like rock you or cause any damage, and so you have the ability to strike right back because it didn't hit you very hard, and it also came a little slow, right? So A, you might be able to dodge it, or B, you might just be able to just hit me right after it because it didn't cause any damage. We call that poor sparring etiquette. The reason being is because if I threw that bitch full speed and if I hit you flush,
You wouldn't be able to punch
you're
back.
not punching me back.
Right.
It doesn't matter if it knocked you out or didn't knock you out. You're not going to just stand there and then immediately throw afterwards.
Yeah.
It's very unlikely. With a head kick.
Yeah, that's valid.
With a head kick. With a shin coming straight to your face,
Correct.
full speed. Not very likely.
Yep.
And so when someone does that, you're like, hey, now we're gonna turn this up a little bit, and my next head kick is coming a lot faster because you didn't respect that.
Yep.
And the proper response should be that head kick hits you, you look at your partner, you nod because you know you just died,
Yep.
you tap back up, and you keep going.
You keep going. Yep.
One thing I've noticed in jiu-jitsu is, especially when you start playing with the legs, and you're in these 50-50 shootouts, and there's times where I'll catch it, but I won't put any additional pressure on it. I'm just catching it. Like I know I have a good bite on it, but I'm not putting braking pressure yet. And so in my head, you should kind of respect the fact that you know that I have a tight grip. You know that I have your leg locked down. And then somebody sometimes will just sit there and just fucking rip something right back at you.
No, I can agree with that. That's actually,
and
before
you're like,
we went into this
bruh.
Muay Thai spew, I was actually just about to say that. I think the people that understand and know how to flow roll with legs, I respect you so much. Like, there's something different to be said about that because no low-level belt will be able to do that.
Yeah.
Like, you have to know what you're doing and you have to be aware of that situation and all of the threats, all of the defenses, right? Because like you said, in a 50-50 shootout, that's where it gets really, really specific, right? Because then if you lock up a heel hook, but you're also not defending yourself properly, that gives them the ability to rip it, right? Bad on their part, but it's also something you need to pay attention to. So for both people, I think if you know how to flow roll in legs, much respect given to the both of you. I think that's a big thing for me. When I see two people rolling in legs and they're just back and forth, like heel, different position, ankle, different position, and then they're up top and then they're taken down again and then they're back in legs, I'm like,
it's fun
yeah,
to
those
watch.
two people are good.
Yeah,
like
it's fun to watch.
They're smart.
Yeah.
They've been in it for a while.
Yeah.
So I respect it at least.
I guess I just don't care enough to rip it for what?
No,
like,
for
or like
sure,
even
too.
to like, it's just like, why?
I think you should always get to especially if you're going to compete, you have to get to the point where you're able to hold on to the position.
Yeah.
You
for
hold
sure.
it. You don't rip that braking pressure, right? Because I've also seen as of recently, some athletes, the way they finish legs is with like a pumping motion, right? That's not something that you should really use in the training room. It's going to have to be something that you practice slowly, but that's not something that you should really use 90% of the time in the training room. So you need to figure out how to be able to get to that position, hold it, have the braking position, right? You should be, when you're training, I do also believe there's a point, if you're going to be a high-level competitor, you have to understand how to get to that braking position. But like you said, the braking force or like rolling through and ripping something, there's obviously a difference between ripping and being able to control.
Yeah.
Like all the time in the training room, you'll hear Gordon and you'll hear John, like good control Autumn, good control so-and-so.
Yeah.
Like they also look for that.
Yeah.
So
I hear that a lot, so I guess I'm doing it right. But
yeah,
but it's like, you
that's
just,
good.
sometimes you're just like in your head, you're like, bruh, why? Now
Really?
you know damn well.
Yeah.
You know damn well that I had an incredible bite
Mm-hmm.
and I just held it there.
Yep.
And then you decided that you're going to fucking like,
Rip.
yeah, just because for what?
I mean, I can't lie. Like I've been there, guilty.
Yeah.
Like I mean, we've all had our moments
Yeah.
for sure, but it's something you learn quick too because karma's a bitch and it does hit you.
Boy, and it's not going to, hey, look, it's not going to come from me. Usually, I'm usually way too nice in order to do that, but someone is going to get it. And
That's what I mean. It's not from everybody, but you'll get it at some point.
Yeah, and for those who are listening who don't know what we're talking about, so in jiu-jitsu with leg locks, we're talking about very split second breaking pressure, where we're talking about from 1, 2, break. It could be very, very quick. And it's
detrimental.
What you're breaking is often the knee. And so what we're talking about is like getting a bite on something where you know that if you put any torque into it, you just obliterate it. And so you get that bite and you're being nice and you're staring at your training partner with those eyes.
I was just about to say that I like have like a backside 50-50 hook, and I'm like, like just turn backwards, and I'm like, are you okay?
And you got the look.
Yeah.
And they should make the right decision. And the right decision is to tap, or they should realize that the person is letting them continue to work on their late stage defense, and they should be trying to defend, not re-attacking in those type of situations. Like if we're doing a round that we know we're going at each other, it's a little different. We know we're trying, like we are going to that point because we're either getting ready for a competition or whatever. But when we're just rolling, it should be, oh, he has this. Oh, he hasn't broken me yet. Okay, I'm going to work late stage defense, or I'm going to tap.
Yep.
It shouldn't be, oh, now's my chance to see if I can just rip one right back. No.
Yeah, I want to be like, it's hard to
dude.
figure out because it's so situational. But like at the end of the day, as long as you're smart and you're paying attention, it's really not that hard.
I don't find it that difficult.
Like, yeah, there's a part of me that wants to, say the usual and be like, that can be hard to do because it's kind of situational, but it's really not.
I really don't think
like
it's
the more that I think about it,
yeah.
the more that we talk about it, it's like I used to make an excuse for other people, but
Yeah.
it's like at the end of the day, it's really not that hard to think of those two things and also know what you're doing to be like,
who are you rolling with?
Yeah.
What kind of roll were we doing? What's the energy? What's the vibe?
Yep, that's the first few things, right? You can get that in the first 30 seconds. And of course, it may change, but then you figure out the things like you said. How much are they ripping it? Am I going to tap? Am I working on late stage defense? And then from there, if you felt like your partner's ripping it, then okay, that's fine. We'll pick up the pace a little bit. But like all of those things shouldn't be that difficult as long as you're decent at picking up on social cues, which I do think a lot of people are not good at nowadays.
No, not in our sport. No, not in our sport. There's a lot of autism rolling around, and there's just not a lot of social cues being noticed.
Those two do.
They do go hand in hand.
Yes.
It is funny. I never really thought about it that way. But maybe they just inherently just can't pick up in the social cues.
Maybe the autism is like good because they're smarter, but then the social cues don't.
That part doesn't line up, and so they're just like, oh well, this is just in their head. They're just doing what they do. But nonetheless, I mean, and we've talked about this before, where there's always like, some of us train a lot more than other people, and so when those other people get to finally train, they have a lot of built up energy, so they want to go so much harder. And just some days, I'm just like, I don't want to do all this. And
I remember you and I having this conversation, I think a long time ago when you first like switched over to halves. And I remember us having this conversation. I was like, dude, I've trained, this is like my 18th session this is like my 12th session within the past 3 days. So I'm like, I'm just trying to flow roll. And I remember you being like, I've already done like 10.
Yeah, we're just
like,
trying to roll, dude.
And then the people that come in for like their second class this week, and I'm like,
if I got all this energy.
If you call me over to roll, I really want to say no.
I know.
Like, I don't want to say no offense to anybody.
I know.
But love the people in the sport. Let me take that back. Some of the people in the sport. There's another conversation. There's some people are weird, but
that's inevitable. No matter what you do, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're a rock climber. Doesn't matter if you're.
But I'm not gonna lie.
Doesn't matter if you're a painter.
Brings some of that.
Oh yeah. Well, maybe. I don't know, dude. No, I don't know. I don't think it's autism. I think it's just.
No, I think, but some. I'm not saying all.
I guess we have to define weird.
Yeah, I think that's another conversation.
There's definitely like,
sure.
Thanks for the rolls. In the DMs, like later on.
Yeah, that's not necessarily what I was talking about, but that's a different conversation. But I think, like, because jiu-jitsu draws so many different people in. Like, you have the average dad that comes in and trains. You have the teenage guys that come in and train. You have the Like, you have so many different
It's
people.
the greatest mixed bag of all time.
Yeah, and so
There's so many different types of people.
correct. But I think that's also how it gets weird sometimes, because it's like, oh, that's random.
It
But,
can.
There's different types of weird
Yeah.
for sure.
But I think, again, no matter what you do, if you're
Yeah.
a painter, if you work
That
in a
was
law,
random.
if you work in a law, if you work in a law firm,
A painter.
yeah, right.
We've been talking
I
about
think they could
sports this
all
whole
be-
time, and he's like, painter. And I'm like,
Well,
whoa.
because I think when you're in a certain niche,
Mm-hmm.
you see the bad side of it, just like anything, right? Like people outside of jiu-jitsu may think that everybody who does jiu-jitsu is bad, or everybody who does jiu-jitsu
Sure.
is great. But then you get into jiu-jitsu and you're like, oh yeah, there are some weirdos. Oh yeah, okay, I see it, right? But it doesn't matter what you did. From an outside perspective, you could think all lawyers are shit. And then you become you get into a law firm, you start working for a law firm, and you're like, oh man, some of these people actually want to do good.
That's true.
And so no matter what you do, like there's always good, there's always bad people. It's just the same thing that's kind of going on like politically. It's like everybody wants to get mad at all corporations or all people who are doing shady business and they just assume that everybody's doing that. It's like, look, the beautiful part about living in this country is that you have the choice of who to work for. And some people are going to be shitty business owners and they're going to do shady shit and they're going to pay less than they should, or they're not going to give the benefits they should. But the beautiful part about being here is that you have the choice to then seek after, sought after, seek an employer who doesn't do that. Or you can start your own thing and work for yourself and be self-employed and not have to worry about any of that. That's the beautiful thing. But people want to just bitch. And they don't want to actually find a solution. They just want to find a bunch of problems and just continue to bitch and bitch and bitch.
Correct.
And bitch.
Yes.
But the reality is that no matter what it is, it doesn't matter anything. There's going to be good and there's going to be bad. And most people live somewhere in the middle. And it's same thing with billionaires or big mass corporations. Some of them are really good and some of them are really shitty. That's just life. Life is always this balance between good and evil. And no matter what, you can't fix that. No matter how many stupid laws you try to write, you can't fix that. You're not going to fix it with laws. They're just going to find a loophole or some way around it. People who want to get around it will get around it. People who abide the law will abide the law. That's just it. It's fine. It's just life. It's just life. That's just how humans are set up.
Yeah.
We're just wired that way. We'll always be wired that way until we merge with technology.
Take a broad perspective to put it in, to relate it to jiu-jitsu for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's just no matter what. Of course there's weirdos who do jiu-jitsu. There's fucking weirdos in the world.
Yep.
There's just weirdos.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Sure.
So again, that weirdo could be a doctor. That weirdo could be a vet. That weirdo could be a painter. Or you could do jiu-jitsu. Or you could be all of the above. Yeah,
And it also depends on the environment, right? Each jiu-jitsu environment attracts different people. Like, house doesn't really attract that many people. It just depends on the environment, who's teaching at that environment.
It's also what you allow.
Yes.
It's what you allow.
Very much so.
People will do what you allow them to do.
Correct.
And so if you have strong boundaries and you have, strong principles, then typically the people around you are people who respect those. And the people you choose not to hang out with typically didn't respect those. And so most people just do what you allow them to do. It's all very simple.
Yeah.
It's all very simple. At its root, all of this is very simple. Have some common sense.
But you wouldn't think that.
Have some
looking at it
nuance.
from an outside perspective. Like, the average person doesn't see it that way.
Which is crazy to me. Like, it doesn't make sense.
I mean,
I
I can agree with you.
don't understand how people don't see it that way. Because we're just humans. We're just a bunch of fucking monkeys on this flying rock,
Right.
going through infinite universe. Like
Yep, that's true.
this is all very bizarre.
Yeah.
The whole thing is weird.
I love how we just like got into this from like jujitsu flow rolling and then weirdos and then like life as a whole, and we're all just monkeys floating on a rock. I love it.
But that's what I mean. That's what it is.
Yeah.
We're just floating on this rock through a universe that is infinite, that doesn't stop. There's 300,000 stars that they know of, probably more. There's 6,000 planets that we've determined. A new alien documentary just came out, The Age of Disclosure.
I need to see. Oh, we have the ad.
There it is.
Let her cook.
That's what it was. It was so much worse than I was saying.
I was about to say that's worse.
It was so much worse. I was giving them credit. Let her cook. That is hilarious.
Wow.
Gatorade, you're hilarious. I know you thought you were doing a good thing.
They definitely did not.
But you
don't give them that much credit.
Dude, there's no...
No. They knew
Let
they
her
were. They
cook.
did it for a reason.
Why
Why would you pull somebody that sucks? Why would you pull somebody that sucks?
The
And
towels
it's like,
cracks
we're
me up.
doing a good thing.
Let
We're doing
her
a good
cook.
thing.
Let her cook.
This is going to be great. You know why it's great?
Because
It's
they should
because she
let them.
sucks.
They should just let them cook.
And because it's
stop
going to be
playing
funny.
basketball.
That's why it's going to get replayed.
Yeah, look at the backlash. That is funny. Okay, we're going to have to pause because I got to pee. I broke the seal earlier. I've been holding it for a while. But if I hold
Why
it
didn't
any
you do this beforehand? He
I
had me
did
sitting
pee.
down before
I
he
did,
even
dog.
sat down.
I did pee. What I
I
just
can
said.
hold
Did you just
mine.
listen? Hey, listen to what I said.
I heard
What I
you.
said was,
You men.
I
swear.
broke the seal. I've been holding it for a minute, but if I hold it any longer, I'm not going to be able to pay attention. And then who knows where this conversation is going to go? Because now we're talking about aliens. I got to back.
Oh my god.
Be right back,
The
y'all.
aliens.
What up, y'all? I know, interrupting the conversation again. I apologize. Not really, though, because I want to talk to you about a great product. Redmond's toothpaste. I know this is kind of silly, recommending a toothpaste, but dude, it has completely changed the way my mouth feels. It is a fantastic toothpaste. It's way better than any other toothpaste I've used, and that's just the truth. So you can get yours now as a What's Up Brodey listener. You can get 15% off with code Brodey, or you can follow my bio in my Instagram to check out, and that'll also get you 15% off. Now back to the conversation.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Okay, whew, I can think now. Aliens.
Oh Lord. I did not think that this is what I was coming back to. I was like, okay, we're gonna figure out like another like health topic, or maybe it's gonna be like
No,
diet,
fuck
or,
all
like,
that. This is so
lifting,
much
or,
more
like-
fun. Have you seen Three Eye Atlas? No.
No.
You haven't seen this
No.
quote unquote
Pull it
comet
up.
that is flying through our solar system the size of Manhattan?
No. I have not even heard about this.
Oh
thing.
my God, dude, thank you. How do you like what? You live under a rock?
I guess.
Oh my God. See, this is what I'm talking about, dude.
I mean, I don't really take my free time to like look at apparently comets that are actually aliens.
That are completely made. It's completely made out of a metal. And it's the size of Manhattan. It's the fastest thing in our universe right now.
Right now, where's it moving towards?
Us.
I'm like, hold on. Like, what do you mean? It's the fastest moving. It's not a comet. What
Well,
are we talking about here? Where's this thing
they
going?
really don't know
That's
what it
what
is.
I'm worried about.
They really don't know what it is. So this guy, Avi, he was just on Joe Rogan. Huh? Avi Loeb. He was just on Joe Rogan. He's a Harvard professor. He's a theoretical physicist. And he is like, I don't understand why nobody else is really paying attention to this. Whoa.
Continue. I don't know how the sound turned on.
Can you get us some photos? Okay.
Sorry,
And so he was on there and he's talking about how this object just came into our solar system. And it is the fastest thing in our solar system. It just came around the sun. And it has the weird characteristics. They thought it was a comet. And he's looking at it and he's like, dude, I don't think this is a comet. It is completely metal. It's made out of metal. Size of Manhattan. And it's crazy. The pictures are nuts. And hopefully we get them soon.
I was trying to look at a video of Avi Load to see if we get the ones that you're looking for. Because those ones don't exist on Google.
Yeah.
She's trying her best.
Yeah. Dude, Google be fucking around sometimes. But it's...
God.
Oh.
Damn, the snap. It's because the TV's so big, it's trying to snap it, and it's obnoxious. That's what you're looking for?
Something like that.
I wish it wouldn't be so goddamn... There we go. Small.
Tell me that's not crazy.
I'm going to have to do a little bit more research.
That's what I'm saying. See? This is nuts. And...
Wow. They're all just like...
Look at it.
Even.
So look, the thing is...
Thanks, Japan. Now we can make out.
The thing to remember is that we have no way to stop an asteroid. And we've been hit multiple times throughout history.
Mm-hmm.
So now they're dating the human race back 1 million years. It used to be 300,000, and then it got pushed to 400, 500,000. And then now recently they found a skull that they carbon dated to be 1 million years old. And that's Homo sapiens. That's not just Neanderthals.
Mm-hmm.
We also know that obviously Homo sapiens and Neanderthals and these other Homo species all were on this earth at the same time at some point, because that's why some of us have Neanderthal DNA, some of us don't. So Homo sapiens and Neanderthals, they were getting it on. And so I have a large amount of Neanderthal DNA. It makes a lot of sense and explains a lot. But
It explains a lot.
But what we got to think about is that if we've been on this planet for at least 1 million years, how many times has civilization restarted itself?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like a lot of times. They can date ice ages back. They have a rough idea of all the ice ages that happened between now and 65 million years ago. The most recent one was about 11,000 years ago. And it knocked us down to like 6,000 mating pairs. The human race has almost went extinct multiple times throughout human history. And it is a crazy thing that more money doesn't go towards space exploration. Because, look, I think what Elon is doing and trying to get the human race to Mars in some fashion might be one of the more forward-thinking things, because there might have to be a time where we do have to get off of this planet. Because if we were to go back into another ice age, everybody's like global warming, Global cooling is far scarier. If an ice age happens, everybody would have to move towards the equator. Well, not everybody can live there.
No.
There's going to be so many people.
It's like, what are we going to be? Dinosaurs?
A lot of people are going to die.
Yeah.
A lot of people are going to die.
I mean,
a lot of people are going to die.
Legal.
And so why aren't we spending more time and more resources and more effort into being interplanetarial? Like, that should be...
It's a crazy concept to actually put into perspective, especially for somebody that...
It is a crazy concept.
Hasn't. Like, wow, I didn't even never think about that. It's like, I know of it because I have heard of the things that Elon's doing. This is actually a conversation that my old coach and I back home had on one of our long car rides to do a seminar. We were talking about Elon and what he was doing in SpaceX, and this was months ago, probably a year ago when I was still back home. And so like I had already had an idea, and it's already been like something that I think about, but like the people that don't realize what he's actually doing, and the people that don't realize that that might be a possibility because of all the factors that you're actually putting into perspective. It's like, if we all have to move to the equator, like I said, what are we, dinosaurs? Like, again, a majority of us are not going to live. Like, we can't do that. So I mean, the perspective
There wouldn't
that
be
you're
enough
putting into play, I
resources.
mean, correct. And I mean, where are you going to go?
Food would die. It's very hard to have food during the Ice Age. So all the food would then exist in the areas that would be warm enough to even live in.
Sparse.
Very
Close
sparse,
enough.
right? And so when people are, either demonizing him or whatever, it's like, hold on. We really need to take a step back and realize this has already happened in human history multiple times. And getting knocked down to 6,000 mating pairs, that was only 11,000 years ago. 6,000 mating pairs, 12,000 total people, roughly. And you're telling me that we shouldn't be trying to think of a way to prevent that, stop that. We should be spending a lot of resources,
Especially
a lot
if
of
we don't
money.
have things like that to stop from hitting us.
Nothing. You have nothing to stop that. If that was to hit us, that would just wipe out a large majority of the world. Gone. Because they estimated that if that was to hit us, it would go miles deep into the crust. It's the size of Manhattan.
It's estimated to be about 33 billion tons.
Put that into perspective.
And at
33
what speed?
billion tons.
Is it moving right now?
It's like 600 light years or some shit. Fast. It is going wickedly fast.
Has that sped up or slowed down since
It has
a previous time that we checked?
Allegedly, it has a weird speed up. And it's not being gravitationally pulled in our solar system either. So it seems to have its own built-in speed somehow.
Which then comes to this new documentary, Age of Disclosure.
And so, but wait, before we
Okay.
get there, where is it right now? Or as of recently, the last time,
From
you have
at least
seen.
the last time I've heard. Now, the podcast episode is probably maybe a month, 3 weeks old now, maybe a month old.
Mm-hmm.
And it had just came around the sun. It was on the other side of the sun, if I'm not mistaken. Because it had just entered our universe. Which is, okay.
That's another thing. It's like, when did it get in here?
Hold on, even before we even get there. I can't even fathom. Okay, so this is the thing. This is something Taylor and I talk about a lot. There's just some things that your brain can't fathom. Your brain can't fathom the fact that it is possible for an object to leave our solar system into another part of the universe and even leave the universe. Does that is... Excuse me, not the universe. I'm sorry.
The only
Solar
reason
system,
I can somewhat
galaxy.
fathom it
Sorry,
is...
galaxy.
Yeah.
That's what I meant.
So this is
I know what you
saying
meant.
it did not form along with our sun and planets, but was ejected from a distant planetary system and is now crossing our region in an approach that, while it's safe, is scientifically decisive. Its expectations are focused on December 19th of this year, where it will be in a more favorable position for us to observe, to figure out what the fuck.
Yeah, so they don't think
hey.
it's going to hit us. However, though, if this is an alien aircraft, if this is an alien species, that doesn't mean that the course just doesn't just randomly change, right? And
If it's moving for a reason.
I mean, it could be a lot of different things. He doesn't, Avi Loeb doesn't get on there and talk about, oh, it's aliens for sure, da-da-da. Look, he is just extremely curious for the things that she's mentioning. The fact that it's not gravitationally bound to the sun like everything else in the solar system
so
is.
It says it's not gravitationally bound to the sun, and that this passage is unique, and once it flies by, it will not return to us.
Which,
So it will leave our solar system and move on.
and then they expect, there down at the bottom, it says, models indicate that 3i Atlas, it may have formed tens of millions of years ago in a distant planetary system before being ejected after intense gravitational interactions with giant planets or neighboring stars. So now, Taylor, look up the that major star that astronomer was talking about. So there are something that's called superstars
Okay.
in the universe, where they make our son look like a little bitch. It is huge. They're huge.
I have not seen.
They're again, these things are like unfathomable. You just can't fathom these things. There was a picture that you had found when looking up these at one point.
Like in the comparison.
Where there was a really good comparison, and it just put it into perspective, and you're just like, holy shit. There was not a Venn diagram. Yeah, like kind of like a Venn diagram where it had them lined up on one photo. But while she's looking at it though, my point is that there's things as a human race that we just can't fathom, right? Like for most of us, if I said $1 trillion, you know that's a lot. Mm-hmm. But you can't really fathom having $1 trillion because it's so much money. Mm-hmm. Even $1 billion is almost unfathomable. Mm-hmm. To a lot of people, $1 million is really unfathomable.
To the average
it's person. More fathomable because $1 million in the grand scheme of things is not a ton of money.
Well,
it's a good amount of money, but you couldn't, like today, if you made $1 million, you couldn't retire and make that last to the end of your life.
Also, most people don't realize how much money actually comes and goes.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah. Well, we print $52 trillion a week.
A week.
$52 trillion a week. The Federal Reserve going crazy. Okay. This is a good comparison.
This is kind of a blurry picture. So
where's our son? Our son's the one on the far left, right?
This tiny little dot right here. That's our son.
Sorry, my face. I just made a really ugly face.
So. There it is. That one right there. The bottom one.
This one?
Yeah, pull that up for me. This is a much better. I think this does a good job. Here we go.
They're not going to scale.
That's okay. That's okay. But this gives you a perspective of what I'm talking about.
The little dot?
Yeah. People can't fathom this. And I think as humans, we worry about a lot of dumb shit.
Yeah, it puts into perspective.
Dumb shit.
It puts into perspective.
We should be worried. We should be worried about this because, again, an ice age would be so miserable.
And now, question: where are these? I guess because I'm not.
They're in other galaxies.
Okay.
So they're very far from us. But if I remember correctly, he was talking about if one of these big ones were to burn out. And explode, or I can't remember exactly. I'm gonna just stop now because I'm getting way out of my. But if you want to go down a fun rabbit hole, can't speak
on what you don't know.
Yeah, so I don't know what I don't know. Like I do know, but I don't know. Not enough to like sit here and have an educated conversation about it.
It's actually what I was telling you the other day. I think a lot of people typically do that.
Yeah, but okay, another perfect example. Mm-hmm. The Northern Lights here in the U.S., or excuse me, here in Texas, how people could see the Northern Lights last week. Mm-hmm. Not a good thing.
Yeah.
Not a good thing at all. It is due to solar flares. And those solar flares were so massive that it was causing that light so that we could see it all the way down here in Texas. Not good. But a lot of people are out there, taking photos of it. They're like, oh, how beautiful. Da, da, da. Not good. It could be very bad. Those solar flares could knock out the grid, the electric grid. Those solar flares could knock out satellites. Like a lot of bad things could happen.
Not aware of that.
There's not enough money being pumped into solar space exploration, in my opinion. And I think what Elon is doing is Elon wants to genuinely change the world.
I can agree. Yeah.
Regardless of what you feel,
he has to a degree.
Regardless of how you feel about his personality or anything else, at the end of the day, what you cannot deny is I believe his passion and his drive comes from his heart. It doesn't come from a monetary
he's
desire.
Not a robot. He's still a human being.
He wants to make the world better. Correct. But what I mean is like a lot of these uberly rich guys that get to his status, they're just looking at numbers. They want more profit. They want bigger houses. They want another yacht. They want more cars. This man's sold.
Why would you flood so much money into a company that really isn't making you anything just yet? right? It's like, I mean, that's the perspective that you really have to think about it in, right? Like for some people, again, it's not really, they don't understand if you tell them that something's coming from somebody's heart, it's like, yeah, well, I could say that about anybody, right? But if you actually look at it, and again, I don't know the numbers, so I can't speak on it enough, but if you're flooding enough money, because he's obviously able to, if you're able to flood enough money into something that isn't, I can imagine, and again, I don't know the numbers, so I can't speak on it enough, but sure, it may be returning to him some, but not to the degree that he wants right now, right? And he's still, every day, every week, month, however much that
Do you know the house that he lives in?
I have not seen it. And I don't know how much it's worth. That's not something that I'm aware of. But, you got to think about just the perspective of somebody willing to flood money into something that's not making them money yet. That's not just coming because, I want nice cars, I want money, I want to.
No, he doesn't care about any of that.
Right.
To a
degree, I can imagine, for sure.
No, he doesn't. No. Look, at one point he had like 12 houses. And then he got so rich shamed. Everybody like bitching, talking shit. He sold every single one of his properties and now lives in this tiny house.
It's like 300 square
Where?
feet.
He doesn't have...
It's
here.
on SpaceX's property.
Yeah. So he doesn't have fancy cars.
I would
he doesn't
really like to know how much money he's already put into space.
He doesn't do any of those things.
Priced around $8,000.
So look at how much is SpaceX? Like how much is SpaceX worth? The company itself.
That's a crazy number. I can imagine. I can imagine there's more that
$400 billion.
Yeah.
The money that's being flooded into it isn't just him, of course.
No, he isn't.
Obviously, but I would also, can we look up something along the lines of even how much it's returning to him at the moment? I don't know how we would be able to look that up or where we would exactly be able to.
Is SpaceX profitable?
Yes, that's a good question.
I think it said it got $20 billion from it, but
that's nowhere in comparison.
And then people were looking at this Tesla package.
It is profitable.
Generated about $55 million to $1.5 billion in revenue in the first quarter of 2023.
So then potentially growing, so the revenue growing could reach $13 billion in 2024. So it's okay. So Joe Rogan was just at the SpaceX facility. And dude, they're constantly blowing rockets.
$15.5 billion this year.
Okay.
Still not $400 billion. Now,
that's not a
all
lot
that
of money
isn't coming just from him, correct? So, and again, it all gets dispersed to a degree, right? Because I think that's also something that the average person doesn't understand. It's not just Elon. It's a majority of Elon, but Elon is not alone in this whole thing. So I think a lot of people also get that misconstrued.
No, but he definitely does. So, okay, so this is the other part that people don't understand. Elon, this is why people have to put this stuff in perspective. Elon open sources everything. So Tesla is completely open source. So the reason.
Funding from NASA.
So this is actually what I was going to get at. Elon helps his competitors all the time. So perfect example is Tesla. When Tesla was when Tesla was really just blowing everybody out of the water, and they still kind of are.
Yes.
But the gap is a lot closer now because of Elon. Elon it was all open source, so you could take what he was doing, how he was building the cars, the batteries, how he was doing everything, and you could just take it. He was giving it out. On top of that, he allows other cars to even charge on his supercharger. He doesn't have to do that. He doesn't have to allow other companies.
To a degree, though.
It's more expensive.
Tesla, for because I know even just from a smaller perspective, not just saying it's broadly open source, right? I know from working at the auto body shop, you do to a degree, though, to even just be able to work on those vehicles, you have to have certifications for that. And then you have to be a specific role to be able to even get into their page just to order parts. So to a degree, I don't know how he allows other people to do that, because I know the way we had to do it as a shop, we have to be Tesla certified. So
I think we're talking about slightly different things. What I mean is that he's given other car companies the blueprint on how to make an effective EV.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, for sure.
So he...
And then I think there's other parts to that than that.
That's what I mean when it was open source. So he was giving other car companies the blueprint. Like, hey, this is how I made these. Here you go.
Yeah, for sure.
He could have kept all that secret.
Sure.
Someone who only cares about making money would have kept that secret.
I think it's also hard to keep those things. Like, at some point, they're going to get out.
Somebody can reverse engineer it, but he's just giving it out. The other point to that is he does the same thing with SpaceX. He's been better. He's put more objects into space than any other company, organization in the world. Just SpaceX has put more objects into space. What he does is he just goes to NASA, he goes to Blue Origin, tells these other companies like, hey, I'll just do it for you. Like, I'll show you how to do it. He's not hiding anything. He's not trying to gatekeep. He's not keeping no one down. He wants everyone to get fucking better.
Also, another
he just
question
is
is,
uberly rich.
does he have technically, because it's a lot of people don't understand, it's not just him. Like, when you own something that big, there's so many other people involved. So, like, I guess something when I'm thinking about that topic or the subject, she's going to town over there. She
likes Elon.
Yeah.
She likes Elon.
But it's like, then I get thinking, right? Like, that open sourcing that you're talking about, how much of a majority of that, he's the one of allowing it, of course, right? But how many people are there doing that job for him, right? Going to other places, giving out these things.
It's more of just like it's just more of like putting it to where someone could just access it.
Yeah.
It's not so much like necessarily going anywhere. But the point that I'm making is that this man genuinely just wants to make a world a better place. You see it time and time again with his inventions. Tesla. Freaking just what he's doing with robo-taxis.
Yeah.
They're insanely cost effective. They're all over the place. What he's done with supercharging, what he's allowed other people to use it. I do know that there is like an upcharge if you're not using if you're not a Tesla and you're using it, but still the fact that it even allows you to use them,
correct.
They're everywhere.
That's respectable.
They're everywhere. He created an infrastructure so quickly and so much better than everybody else's, and then he allowed people to use that infrastructure. Starlink. He's given internet to places that just couldn't get internet. He gave internet to Ukraine at the height of the war. I'm pretty sure he still gives them internet, and he's constantly getting shitted on by the media. He's constantly getting hated on.
I wish I could go to an EV outlet and use anybody else's, but guess what? I can't unless I have a certain attachment.
Other car companies don't let Teslas use their EV chargers. So no one else is doing what he's doing. He's bringing everybody else up. And dude, you can pull up all the articles from like 2008, 2009 where they were roasting him for starting an EV company. All of them were just writing these terrible articles about him. He's an idiot, da da da. It'll never work, da da da. His cars are 1, 2, 3, and 4 safest cars to drive, period.
Yep.
They win the safety award every single year, 1 through 4. They are unstoppable. He is trying to change the world. And so when he talks about going to Mars, this is what people are not extrapolating from that. They just see this crazy rich guy and they're like, oh, you want to go to Mars? You're a fucking rich dude. Da 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 da. How about the people here? Blah, 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 blah.
Those are the same people that are going to make the hate articles and the videos about why his car, when somebody got in an accident, why the windows locked and the doors locked and they couldn't get out because their car was on fire. It's not actually true, by the way. There's an emergency exit on the door, but most people don't know that and they're not smart. But those are the same people.
I didn't actually know that.
Right.
But to that point, Yeah, he doesn't want to go to Mars. Yeah, what about the people here? Okay, two things. A, he bought Twitter, which ultimately is just saved free speech. Completely saved free speech. He bought a company that, A, he paid way too much for. An FBI analyst was like, hey, you're buying a company that's 80% bots. And he said, fuck it, it's worth it. And spent $44 billion. $44 billion and bought that just to preserve free speech. And people are like, oh, look at all this shit on here. Da, 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 da. Dude, look, it is the number one news app in the world.
Solving
is
time frame
is
in his brain.
incredible.
It's just crazy.
It's incredible. He's incredible.
Yeah.
Again,
I can agree.
anybody's bad. Anybody has bad moments. Anybody has bad characteristics. Anybody has flaws. Everybody has flaws. But you have to look at what this man does on a grand scale. It is unfathomable. Nobody else is doing what he's doing. Nobody else is even capable to do what he's doing.
Correct.
Because if Jeff Bezos wanted to, he has the resources, he has the money, he could do it. But he chooses not to.
This interview is probably one of my favorites.
Oh, yeah, where he starts to tear up?
Because you can see how much he fucking cares in it.
Go ahead, let's play with some sounds.
Yeah, and hopefully we don't get echo. So no, it's not gonna work. Oh, hopefully there.
Yeah.
A luxury item.
Yep, I knew that was gonna happen.
Nice little echo.
Yeah.
It's okay, she'll fix it. Yeah,
Some stay wondering, well, should we go without some food?
Sure.
That's just not something you would ever expect.
I did not expect that. Yeah. We will cut it.
He's like, you can see him getting so emotional over it.
Cost of power is making...
Dude, he wants to change the world. There's just no other way around it. Like, look, again, you want to judge somebody on their flaws, whatever, dude. But there is nobody else that wants to change the world more than that guy wants to change the world. And he does it for no other incentive outside of he genuinely wants to make the world a better place. He has, okay, so again, my two things. He bought Twitter, way overpaid, only to preserve free speech because we were about to get cooked. We were so fucked. I mean, it was almost so bad.
We might not have even been able to be on here and even use the R word once.
Exactly.
Not even just
They would have
once.
already been at the door.
Yeah, they would have been like, gotta cut it off.
Speaking of which, pull up the Daily Mail UK Elizabeth Kinney story.
Yeah.
No rush though.
Elizabeth
So
who?
Elizabeth Kinney, Kinney.
I'm gonna be listening to this because I don't know anything about this subject.
This is how bad it could have gotten because media was already being suppressed. The government was already paying and influencing Facebook, Twitter, before it was bought, YouTube, Google. They've all come out and said that this was a real thing. So, we're going to call it the F word just for the sake of not having to bleep it out as well. But essentially what happened was, from what I read and what I've been seeing and what Tucker Carlson said, and if you look up the article, you can find it. It's the dailymail.uk. And essentially, her boyfriend beat her. She then texted her friend and essentially called him the F word multiple times. And her friend, which is fucked, her friend reported her to the police. And so people think that other countries have free speech like we do. No, not at all. No, not at all.
Like,
not even close.
If you aren't grateful for what we have here, get out.
Tripping.
Get out.
Yeah.
Like, leave then. Go see a third world.
Just go see. It doesn't even have to be third world anymore. Just go to Western Europe.
Sure, go see.
And
then when you're not allowed back, don't be upset because you complained.
She got 12 months of community service and is forced to work unpaid and go through rehabilitation, all because of what she said about her abuser, while he has not been arrested or convicted.
Yeah. They arrested her. This is where we're at. Especially when
How
you
long ago
start.
was this?
This was like last week.
Oh, wow.
Especially
I
when
thought you meant this was like
No.
a
It's like
while
last
ago.
week. No. So in the UK, there's been 12,000 people arrested for memes. It's probably more now since we've been talking about this and everyone's been talking about it. There's probably more now. But essentially, so she
insisted her words were a thoughtless rant.
Yeah.
And that she has not attacking anyone's sexuality.
the fact that she even has to like even explain herself,
Homophobic.
dude. Even have to explain herself. This is what happens, and people don't understand. This is what happens when you start to try to implement laws to fix human nature. You can't write laws out of this. Like, that's just not how that works. When you start to deem things as homophobic or hate speech or whatever, those are being deemed by another human. So
it's hard to find that fine line.
there is no fine line.
Because it either has to be all or none.
And it has to be all. Because, I mean, or none, however you mean that. It has to be the
Either
one.
way,
It has to be the, like, people should be able to say whatever the fuck they want.
Mm-hmm.
Because the only way to combat that is to allow people to say whatever the fuck they want. And then there's a group of people that come into the comments or they come in on a podcast like this and have a conversation about it. And the only way to combat people saying dumb shit is to correct it with better shit. That's the only way. You cannot suppress, you cannot censor, you cannot self-censor. Once people start to self-censor, it's extremely dangerous because look, it leads down to a very, very slippery slope where now people are getting arrested for quote unquote hate speech just because she called the...
Why aren't we looking at the bigger issue? Right?
What's the bigger issue?
Her being assaulted?
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like that's
That's so much that she had to attend the hospital, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah, she got arrested
Point
at the
proven.
hospital.
She was in the hospital and arrested.
Yeah. So when people are like, oh...
I say we, but it's technically them. But
people are like, oh, he just bought Twitter. It wasn't even that big of a deal. No, the dude was saving the world.
there's a reason behind everything that man does.
Because if you Google that story, it is... it's so hard to find.
I've never seen it.
It goes against the narrative. It goes against... Because again, we talked about this with Manchild. We talked about how Americans think of Western Europe and Australia and Canada as the fucking safe havens, as these utopias, as these perfect places, just because they have free healthcare. And we were actually watching a Swedish streamer who moved to the States. Mm-hmm. And he went on this rant. And I actually hit him up on Instagram, asked him to come on the podcast. He lives in Dallas because of it. Because he, 23 years old, super smart, like yourself, where he had a very profound and very truthful rant where he's like, look, I'm from Sweden. We had free healthcare. You don't want free healthcare. You want affordable healthcare.
Well, Charlie Kirk had a moment like this on campus with one of the guys that had come up and was like, free healthcare for all. And he was like, what does that allow? And he was like, everything. And he was like, so you think everything should be taken care of? So if you go and physically break your arm and go to the hospital, right? This wasn't the exact example that he uses, but he uses another example and is like, if you do that, that should just be taken care of by somebody else. He's like, yeah. And it's like everybody in the crowd's just
which is
like,
not realistic. It's
obviously,
not fucking
yeah.
reality.
Yeah.
It's not
And
reality
he,
because
again, use a different example, but continue with
it also
what
just
you're saying.
shows. It also just shows a lot of the people that preach this clearly have no family members or have not also been in the military. Because that's what free healthcare looks like, where it takes 4 months to just get into your general practitioner, where it takes 6 months to schedule a surgery. You can't, and then there is no speeding that up with, hey, I'll pay.
Yep.
No.
No,
That's
you
how
already
that
had this
free.
set up.
That's how that free thing works.
Uh-huh.
There is no
choice now.
There is no choice. You're gonna wait. And I saw this study. See if you can find this. This is something I saw on Twitter. I don't know that it was real, but see if you can find this. It was something like 15,000 people die a year, and I don't remember what country it was or if it was just free healthcare countries or what, but 15,000 people die a year or something like that waiting for their healthcare. See if you can find something like that, because that is an astonishing number that nobody fucking talks about.
Yep.
These topics are complicated. They're very nuanced. Mm-hmm. And when he said this, he was like, you don't want free healthcare. You want affordable healthcare.
The 1,500 is specific to Canada.
That's so it's a real thing. Mm-hmm. So 15,000 people. 15,000 people in Canada die each year waiting.
2023.
Between April 1st and March 31st.
Waiting for their health care. That's never talked about because it goes against the fucking narrative.
Data suggests Oklahoma could be higher, potentially 28,000.
28,000. Dog.
That's just what they write down. That's just what they have in the system.
People being tracked in 2018 and over 74,000 cases of Canadians dying while waiting for healthcare have been identified.
That's so crazy.
Wow.
That's so crazy. That is a insane stat.
And
that is an insane stat.
People aren't knowledgeable enough to go and actually do their research on these things before they're just like, I want free shit.
Well, okay. Well, this is why. Or at least this is my perspective on it. There's a lot of things happening at once, right? People are being propagandized. Mm-hmm. People are being told what to think, not actually free thinking. School does not set you up. Jesus Christ.
She's like, speak.
She's very passionate about the healthcare system.
I know. Elon, healthcare.
Yeah.
I think
Elon just needs to get in the healthcare.
I think she's on the right track.
Yeah, right?
I think she's on the right track.
Oh, that was my second point. Elon tweeted out to the humanitarian, the WHO, I think, the WHO, and said, look, if you can write me up a plan to fix world hunger, just go ahead. Just send me the plan and send me the bill. I'll pay for it. Guess who didn't fucking write him a plan or didn't send him the bill? They never followed through with that. He said... Anyways, I digress. Back to what I was saying.
Before we deep dive too far.
So here's the thing, right? So so people are being propagandized. They're being told what to think. They don't have the time to sit here and look this stuff up. I, fortunately, am someone who craves this. I want to understand. Mm-hmm. I want to understand. Why are people upset? Mm-hmm. Why do people feel this way? Mm-hmm. What are the pros? What are the cons? Because these topics are nuanced. And obviously...
I do agree that's very true.
And obviously our healthcare system could be better. Mm-hmm. But it also works very well when it does work. If that makes sense. Like it does work. Like if you have money or even with your insurance, oftentimes you don't have to wait that long.
Well, it's actually also like I know of somebody that actually went in and her doctor actually told her when she got in there, I think she paid a $600 deductible because she was dealing with an infection. And she went in, she was dealing with that infection. It had gotten really, really bad and she needed to go to the emergency room. And with insurance, she had done her research, pulled up all of her insurance, went to them and ended up paying a $600 deductible. And I think when she had gotten in there, she had waited probably an hour or whatever it was. It may have been shorter, may have been a little bit longer. She gets in there and the doctor looks at her and is like, I can literally get fired for telling you this and I'm not supposed to tell you this, but if you don't use insurance,
you're going to pay less.
You're actually going to pay less.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And when I heard that, I was like, I knew of that and I've heard stories, but just to hear it again is just like, yeah. Now for some things that doesn't roll the same, right?
Of course not.
Again,
nothing is ever an absolute.
Yeah.
Brigham Bueller talks about this a lot. It's the reason why Waste Well, Merrick Health, these companies are popping up and they're becoming insanely popular very quickly. Because I did the same thing. Mm-hmm. If I wanted to go to a doctor who was more educated and more on the cutting edge type, it was a $200 monthly retainer fee just to be able to go to their practice, right? Mm-hmm. But they're good. They're good. They're up to date on peptides. They're all for TRT. They're all for all of these things that we know helps. But if you go to a regular doctor, they're going to fucking tell you no,
They'll be like, oh,
or they're going to tell you whatever.
like,
Yeah.
you're sticking yourself with a needle?
Yeah.
That's not good.
They're going to tell you to stop eating meat and all those wacky shit, right? And so I was like, okay, I'm going to go to this doctor because I do need to get stuff done. I need to get peptides. My testosterone did come back low. I'm thinking about getting on TRT, etc. So I need a doctor who's with the shits. And I was doing the math, and I was like, I also had a consultation with Ways to Well at the same time. And I did the math, and I was like, dude, paying out of pocket and just going cash with Ways to Well was cheaper. And it's no fault to theirs. I think they probably do great work. My buddy is the one who recommended them. I'm sure they do fantastic work, the whole 9 yards. But the fact of the matter is that going through insurance would have been more expensive plus the retainer fee versus just going to a cash model like Ways to Well. So again, an affordable model. Now, this is where we can have a legit conversation. Should people be burdened and go into debt and lose their livelihood because of medical debt? Fuck no. No, I think all of us could agree on that.
Yeah.
But should every single thing just be free? No. What should be the case, at least how I see it, is that we should have places like Ways to Well that's doing preventative care. You should be able to pay cash. It should be affordable. It should be, it's $49 a month. I get my blood work twice a year. They do a review for you. And then you can also get peptides, TRT through them. TRT is like $70 for a 2-month supply. Very affordable for most people. Most people can afford that.
Yeah.
It's not that much.
That's actually crazy. I didn't actually know that it was that inexpensive. I thought that it would have been more than that.
Yeah, it's not bad.
How much peptides are, so I figured it had been more than that. But anyway, continue. That's not bad. Sparked my
It's not bad, right? And so I believe I believe that model is the correct model. And then we should all have insurance that protects us from terrible shit, right? Like Ben Askren. The fact that his insurance company tried to deny that is where we can have a legitimate conversation about how our healthcare system is fucked. But that's not the fault of the healthcare system. That is the fault of insurance companies.
Right, that's another whole conversation.
It's not the healthcare system. It is the insurance companies being extremely greedy and not wanting to cover his surgery that was very expensive.
That's insurance with
everything. It was $1 million surgery, a multi-million-dollar surgery. They didn't want to cover that shit. Fuck them for that. That's terrible.
Correct.
That shouldn't be a thing. That's where the universal healthcare does make sense to it. Like there should be a certain degree where you're just covered because that's crazy.
But the problem too is the people that are working in the insurance, right? Whatever person you have working directly for that, where is their money coming from, right? People are greedy. Oh, yeah. So it's not just an industry itself making the money, but the people within it, right? It's like, I can tell you from my perspective, from working in the car industry, dealing with insurance, and every company is obviously different. And you don't really know until you really work with it, but it's like you could work on a car and you work with Geico or you could work with State Farm. And if you're DRP with some of them, it's completely different. Thresholds are different, but long story short, insurance companies are greedy. You could write them a full-blown estimate saying this fender got hit. Fully dented, it's going to need a new fender. We're going to have to blend it into the bumper. We're going to have to blend it into the door. And they're going to be like, I think we can fix the dent on that fender and not spend the money on a new one. And we're like, it's cracked. It's blown. It's dead. It needs to be trashed. But they're not obviously going to say that out loud. And that's an over dramatic situation. But that's the type of situations that we deal with. And anybody in the industry will tell you that. And healthcare is very different. But I can tell you from the car industry, insurance itself.
The game is the same.
Yeah.
Because humans are the same. Mm-hmm. Human nature is the same, right?
And people are greedy for the majority.
That's why socialism doesn't work. That's why capitalism is the answer It's just gotten bogged down by bureaucracies, and we've allowed people to stay in power for 40 fucking years that are just trash.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the reasons why. But choice is always the better answer.
Mm-hmm.
It's always the better answer. The choice to go through your insurance and to go through that game, if that's the way that you want to go, that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But we also have the choice, and if you have the financial ability, to just go to a cash place that often is less expensive. And
it's hard to find.
We talked about this with Jesse as well. If you don't like the fucking healthcare system and the insurance companies, then take better care of yourselves as well. Like, take some kind of personal responsibility. 70% of this country is overweight.
And that's being knowledgeable on the subject, right? It's like I talk to most people about, like, I've had multiple people, and I'm not even that, I can't even say that I'm that knowledgeable on it, but I have enough common sense to know what a good diet is, right? And this is just a basic scenario of what you're talking about, right? But a majority of people will come to us athletes and be like, well, how do you cut weight? How do you have such a good diet? What do you eat? And I'm like, and they're like, today I had like a tortilla with like just a little bit of dressing and like some veggies, but I had a fried chicken tender on it, but I only had one. And I'm like, whoa,
so you had no protein.
Yeah, hold on. It sounds like healthy to you because you don't know what you're talking about. But I'm like, where's the protein? Number one, it's fried. You're not eating enough to keep your metabolism high enough. And you're eating a majority of carbs, which is holding onto water weight, which is a different topic. But like the majority of people don't acknowledge those things, or like want to do, don't acknowledge the fact that they are not knowledgeable on it enough to do the research.
Well,
right?
It goes back to my point. People are tired.
Mm-hmm.
People have given up. People want to just be told what to think. They don't want to put any effort in. All these things that we're talking about, they take effort. Like, I probably do, 12 hours worth of information each week. That takes effort, right? Effort, like, and then on top of that, not only does it take effort to just listen to all of that, but then it takes effort to then cipher through it and try to find where, okay, maybe some of it wasn't exactly how it goes. Maybe some of it was hyperbole. Maybe some of it was incorrect. Maybe some of it was really, really good. And being able to sort through that, and then taking it a step further and kind of diving into these things, even past that, right? Listening to all of it and then extrapolating that information, and then taking it and then Googling it or looking it up on Twitter or talking to AI with it, and just diving further and further into that.
Yeah, because now we have resources, right? It makes it even easier.
Infinite amount of resources.
Right.
Infinite resources.
People are like, what is grok? Like, what do you mean?
It's just infinite.
What do you mean you don't know what that is?
Yeah, it's just an infinite. There's no, so like at the same time as there are excuses, there is also no excuses at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And look, I think these things are important to talk about. It's why I do this. It's why I want to do this, because these things are important to talk about. Like, everybody's like, oh, people that make these blanket statements, healthcare should be free. And that's it. Okay. Whew.
Well, if that's what you think.
Well, let's like drill into this, because that's a very complicated, that's a large thing that you just said, and you just put it into a 3-word, like a 3-word sentence.
Yeah.
Okay. What does that mean to you?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I think once you drill into it and you get past it, I think a lot of people just agree that people shouldn't be burdened by medical debt. Medical debt is like the number one reason, or the number one cause of bankruptcy. That's awful.
Mm-hmm.
That's awful. I think everybody would agree that's not great.
Mm-hmm.
Shit happens. You get hit by a car. You get into a car accident.
Mm-hmm.
God forbid, you cut an artery on a piece of glass or whatever, right? And you have to go to the emergency room. That shit adds up quick.
Mm-hmm.
Or you get ammonia that turns into X, Y, and Z, or you get a cold that turns into ammonia and then whatever, or you get a staph infection that then turns into ammonia and then turns into lung, it gets stuck in your lung like Ben Askren. Like, things can add up quick.
And now these are things, right? Like, a majority of what you just talked about are things that some people cannot control, which then goes to the point of what we just kind of got off of and kind of back on, is not free healthcare, but the affordable healthcare, right? And then back to what you said, taking away from that, on the other perspective, the reasons that people are in the hospital that they can't control.
It's not often that.
That's a rare case
Most people
scenario.
die from lifestyle diseases. Lifestyle diseases. That we constantly get told are genetic, which is complete and utter bullshit.
Not true.
It's just not. It's just complete and utter. Next time your doctor says that's genetic, ask them,
You're
okay,
fat
what
genetically.
gene did that come from?
Yeah.
Ask them what gene.
And they're like,
just ask them what gene.
Nobody's asked that before.
Yeah.
I wonder why.
Because most things aren't attached to an actual gene. Now, what is genetic is lifestyle choices. If you grow up in a family that's very sedentary, or if you grow up in a family that doesn't eat well, or if you grow up in a family that just, doesn't do any of these things, it's very much more likely that you're going to follow that same path, because that's just what you've seen. That's what you've learned. Sometimes it's all that you know. Sometimes you haven't branched out into other communities, other groups that aren't living that way. You think that's the only way to live. And then you too fall into that. Now you're overweight. Now you have diabetes. Now you lost your foot. That's what's genetic. High blood pressure, high cholesterol, these things are not genetic. They're not attached to a gene.
Yeah.
What is genetic is the fact that you've seen these lifestyle choices being made. They were poor. And now you're also making those poor lifestyle diseases because you think that's just how people live. And then they go to the doctor and then they get a statin and then they get put on high blood pressure medication. And this should just become normal for you. And it's not until you take some kind of self-responsibility and some kind of self-accountability and take a step out of that and be like, holy shit, this is not actually how you live. I can actually just take really good care of myself. There's infinite amount of resources to read about or listen to when it comes to diet and nutrition. It's really not rocket science. You can get into the weeds of it. I don't recommend it, but you can get into the weeds, this diet, that diet. Some people like carbs. Some people don't like carbs. Some people believe in ancestral diets. Some people don't. Look, at the fucking end of the day, the bare minimum, eat a lot of protein and then everything else will fall into place. That's really the simple gist of it. Eat a lot of protein and allow everything else to fall into place.
I was just about to say, you were just talking about high blood pressure, high cholesterol, right? High cholesterol, right? Like if you actually think about that, I would actually really love to know the exact number on this. But the amount of people, and I hate doing it, it sucks. Because, of course, I want to eat out every night. I want somebody to cook for me. I just want to pay somebody to do it. Of course, it's easy.
Of course.
But the people that actually eat all carnivore, the way cholesterol and blood pressure changes, I've watched it. My dad does it. That's what he does now.
It's huge.
Yeah.
It's huge. And it goes against everything we've been told for forever. But then all you have to do is a few Google searches and you would realize that study was completely fabricated and complete bullshit. And they got paid $50,000 to tell you.
I was about to say how much money was involved.
They got paid $50,000 to tell you that sugar wasn't the enemy and that it was saturated fats. And we know this to be incorrect and a fabricated study. And people still quote it to this entire day.
That a saturated fat and sugar are the same thing. You'll not be able to convince me.
It seems like common sense, right? Like you eat a steak, you feel pretty good. You eat a candy bar, you feel like shit.
Yep.
It really isn't. It really.
And the people that try to tell me that's not true, I'm like, I have one of the biggest sweet tooths ever. I was like, but you won't be able to convince me that eating healthy versus eating processed foods will make me feel mentally too.
Oh.
My brain fog when I'm eating terrible is absolutely horrendous.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, the majority of people that are athletes and have good diets already know these things, but the average person doesn't, right? Yeah. Or they don't think about it like, oh, maybe it's not just physically how I look or how I feel, but maybe it's also mentally. Like, have you thought about the brain fog that you have on a daily basis when you get up and go to work? Have you thought about how you sleep at night? Have you thought about your digestive system when you go to the bathroom every single day? Like, those things the average person doesn't really think about when they think of diet. It's just like losing weight or how do I look? I want abs. I want this. And then you get down to things like cholesterol, you get to blood pressure, right? And then it becomes drastic. And then it's like, oh, like I really need to change. And I really need to fix all these things. But you would have had the abs. You would have had the lean muscle if you had eaten right. And then all the cholesterol, for a majority, all the blood pressure, all those things would have already been
pretty much
fixed.
worked themselves out, yeah. Mm-hmm. There's an insane amount of people on statins and like cholesterol medication. Another thing, there's 14% of the American population is on SSRIs. 14%.
It's
It's a staggering number.
Everyone, and then the healthcare system will be like, that's not that much.
Staggering number. It's a staggering number, dude. It's a staggering number that there's that many people taking something that physically cuts your body off from your brain.
And now actually a question that I have, and I don't know if this is probably something that we can look up, but like, what was the percentage, if that is this year, what was that percentage 2 years ago versus 10 years ago versus, I would like to know the time frame because
probably,
when did it get
probably
really
drastic.
big?
It's probably drastic. I bet you if you look up like 2010 numbers versus 2025 numbers, I'm sure it's a drastic difference. You can put that in the perplexity, actually. That'd probably be best. And so, yeah, I mean, the number is probably staggering different. But I mean, fucking everybody knows somebody who's on an antidepressant at this point, or an anti-anxiety medication, or an antipsychotic.
I don't think I know anyone with that one.
Yeah, I don't think I know anybody on an antipsychotic either. That was cap.
I don't.
Most people.
No, but like, right? That's what it should basically be called for everything. Just put everyone on everything, and that's gonna fix everything, right?
Yeah,
like
just Just continue to just down the medicine every single day, and not actually make any changes.
Yep.
But again, that goes back to what I was saying. People don't have the time. People don't have the. People don't put the. Correct. They're not very efficient. Mm-hmm. Years rose from about 7% to 13% by the mid 2000s or 2010s, and then
60 to 65% over
an increase
of 60%.
Yes,
and then
increase. Over 15.
Yeah, so 17% of women in 2015, and then 2023 it increased again another 5%. So all this to be said that it is constantly increasing. Mm-hmm. Ooh, you want to know another fun fact on this now?
Please.
That I just learned. And we can look this up too.
Mm-hmm.
The UK ranked the number 2 most depressed country in the world.
I think I heard about this, but I didn't do enough research on it.
The number 2. Number 1 was Uzbekistan. Number 2 was the UK. So, I don't know how you pull this. I don't know how you look this up. I don't know how you
get the most accurate.
I don't know how you find this, right? There's countries that are...
Can I ask where you found this from?
Chris Williamson brought this up.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Chris Williamson brought this up. And again, we can definitely look it up here on good old Perplexity AI and see what it says.
One thing I wanted to point out is the fastest growth is among ages 18 to 34, and women use SSRIs at roughly twice the rate of men in the data set.
That is concerning.
Wow, which is even more concerning for women, right?
What's concerning for both? It's concerning in both regards. Sure. I'm saying no. Yes. It's concerning in both regards. It's concerning that women use it at twice the rate.
That's what I mean.
I think that's largely due to, maybe a little bit of the feminist movement making women want to be CEOs when I don't think all of them want to be. Making them go into the workforce when I don't think a lot of them really want to naturally. I don't think that's the thing.
Because we made them think that they should.
Well, it was so they could get double the tax. It was a ploy to get a double tax income from every family. Crazy. They told y'all. They told y'all that having a baby was bullshit. And that you should inspire to go run a company.
No thanks.
Now, the caveat is there's going to be women naturally who want to do that.
Sure.
And guess what? They were still doing that shit beforehand too.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
They were still doing that. You know, it's funny. You go back and you watch movies in the 90s or the 2000s, and they were just naturally diverse casts. It wasn't forced. Now you can make the argument that maybe there wasn't as many leads of a minority.
Mm-hmm.
And sure, okay, that's probably fair. But when you watch these movies, they were just naturally diverse.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't forcefully diverse. Like we were just watching Heat, 1995. There was black cops, there was black criminals, there was white cops, there was white criminals. The cast is just naturally diverse.
Yep.
We have become so focused on something that is fabricated and made up.
Mm-hmm.
This whole racism thing is highly fabricated and
Well,
highly over-exaggerated.
Well, and those two things definitely go hand in hand, and they are separate topics. But like, it's actually funny. I heard, and I watch her so much, I think I remember her last name. But a girl on Instagram and the internet, actually, her name is Savannah. You might have seen her before, but she really talks about like traditional views and things along that. And I heard her. I cannot remember who she was on the podcast with, but she actually says, talking about feminism. And I can't remember exactly how she said it, so I'm not going to go word for word. But
Savannah Chrisley?
Might be. She has like dark brown, blackish hair. No. That's not her. That's one of the Chrisleys.
Pull her back up, though. Hold up. Who was that? Hi, Savannah.
Hi, Savannah. I actually used to watch them. But
so she
reality
knows that
TV.
Savannah, but it wasn't that
I do know that Savannah, but that is not the Savannah I'm talking about. But I actually watched her.
Definitely not her.
I watched her in a podcast, and this was like a reel, so it had been cut short. And I would actually love to go back and watch the whole thing because I thought it was really interesting. But just scrolling on Instagram, I had seen she was on there with somebody in specific, don't remember their name, and she was talking about. Correct. Yes. Yep. And she was talking about how. Yep, that's her and her man. Yes, very pretty girl. But she was talking about how if women were not allowed to vote, which is a topic that everybody hears and is like, whoa. So again,
gonna get me in trouble.
No opinions are going to be put in here, but I'm just citing the topic that she was talking about. We can pull up this reel if it's really needed. But right, she goes along this topic and just puts out there, when women were allowed to vote, we had never, ever, up until that point, been so democratic. And that was, right, when that party, right, because the Democratic Party was, at one point, it wasn't all what it is now. But if you look back, that's when it started to really grow, and then it started to turn, right? And that's what she gets at. So I thought that I would like to go back and watch that for that reason. But she said that, and I said,
well,
that was interesting.
A few things on that. Just pure facts, not any opinion, like you said. I'm not going to put an opinion on this. Here's the reality of things. 9 times out of 10, who wants to talk about politics? Most women do not. They just don't. They don't want to talk about it.
Not
They
want.
don't.
Right, like some can, but we
Sure.
don't prefer to.
But it's not a conversation that they look forward to having, right? But there are men that do, that we enjoy these kinds of conversations.
Difference between what women and men are good at, right? The major things and minor things. And that's not a bad thing, but what do women talk about the most? You're going to get like chores, household things, kids, a little bit of drama, cooking, TV. Men are going to talk about sports, their job, politics, and things like that. And that is okay. Now, there's that diversity of a few people that you're going to get otherwise, right? But that's not the majority.
Of course.
And I think it's changed more so nowadays because there's this ideology of like women are supposed to be able to do those things, and we should be allowed to do this, and we should be allowed to do that. So I do think, sure, some of it has changed within today's society, but women and men are different.
We're doing a lot to cater to the minority. Here's the other aspect of that people don't like to talk about. Women are naturally more emotional. They naturally vote more with their heart than they do with logic.
Yeah,
that's just That's just y'all are wired in such regard, and it's for a specific reason. It's because to be a mother, it should, like, we brought this up with Cosmo, but Naval, he's been on a few podcasts, very successful angel investor, He says, show me a young person who isn't a Democrat, and I'll show you someone without a heart. Show me an older person who isn't a Republican, and I'll show you someone without a head. It's just that is the reality of things. It is great to be a liberal and to be socialist within your community, within your local government. I believe your local government should be more democratic. It should be more liberal. Things usually operate better on a smaller scale in that regard. The further you go up the chain, the more and more you need to get more conservative and then eventually to a libertarian point of view. That's typically how things work better.
Yeah.
Within your community, fucking sure, dude. We can all be equal. Straight share things. I'll give you something. You give me something. No, don't worry about it. You don't owe me nothing.
And for sure, I don't mean like, and I know that you know this, but not saying that everything should be Republican or Democratic, right? That when we actually go to vote, it's actually interesting. For instance, even my family, my dad's talked about this out loud. It's actually funny how mixed the results are that he actually gets. Because he's just...
It should be that way. You should be voting for the person.
Yep.
John Fetterman, Democratic senator for Pennsylvania, came out and he's been saying this more and more vocally. He's been very outspoken about it. He is done voting for the party. He's going to vote for the people. And he has reached across the line multiple times. And we're seeing more and more senators and more House of Representatives adopt this mindset because it is the only way. It is the only way. We're not voting for the fuck the party. We're voting for America. We're voting for the people. And that is what we have to get back to. And to your dad's credit, that is exactly how you should vote. There's going to be certain Republicans that are a better fit for you. There's going to be certain Democrats that are a better fit for you. Oftentimes, again, from a Democratic standpoint, it's better from a smaller scale. Like, that's why this is another thing that people take for granted. And people don't understand because they live in blue cities and blue states. But when you live here in Texas and you live in a blue city like Austin, but you live in a red state, you realize that balance is so fantastic. And it's exactly how it really should be. Austin is a great fucking place. It's a mixed bag. It's all over the place. There's so many different people. We love our artists. We love our local bar musicians. We love our comedians. We love all these people who are artists and creating art. But then we also love our freaking grinders. We love our hard work. We love our big successful people. We respect those guys. We know what it takes to get to that position. We understand that. But then we also love the people who are just like, you know what, man, I'm comfortable right here. I just want to play in a bar and I just want to play my instrument and I just want to play my music. And we fucking respect those people just as much. Sometimes you respect those people even more because they've just completely said, fuck the system and I'm going to do the exact opposite. And you're like, like, hey, dude, I love it.
Yep.
I love it. If that's what makes you happy, then do it. If being successful and chasing money also makes you happy, then sure, do that within a reason. Like, don't be fucking people over for that money. But if like building companies and building brands and building businesses is your thing and you're really, really good at it and you can do it responsibly and you do it correctly, fucking do that too. We love that shit too. And that's something that we take, I try not to. But that's something that people take for granted here in Texas because the cities are blue and the state is red. And people don't look at it like that. Like, why do we have it good here? It's something that I was looking up. I was looking up the difference between states that have forced minimum wage and states that do not have a high forced minimum wage. And I was looking up the numbers between the two. And what it turned out is there is not a big difference between those states from a household median income. So on paper, it does look like the states that force a higher minimum wage, that the household median is higher, which is true. The household median is typically higher because the companies are forced to pay people more in those states. However, when you factor in cost of living and you factor in how much how much it costs to live in those states, it's actually fairly fucking even across the board. So here in Texas, it's $7 minimum wage still. But our money goes on, it's really close. We're still a little under, but it's really close to almost equal to states like New York. Or excuse me, we're actually way ahead of New York.
I was about to say,
it's
like,
California.
let's take that as an example.
Yeah, it's California. California is kind of the I guess you'd probably say like the leading charge of it. We are really close to California in terms of household median income when you factor in cost of living. We're just right there below them. It's not that big of a difference. So there's almost no evidence that shows forcing people to pay people more makes people more money. What it does do is it fucks over small businesses and it forces them to do things like cut people's hours, to hire out of state or illegal immigrants as workers. It also is companies just leave.
Yep.
Like, I'm not doing this.
Right.
I'm leaving.
Right.
And so we live in a state that has no state tax. Yeah, the minimum wage is on paper $7 an hour, but the household median income here in Texas is still $75,000, which is not that much lower again. When you factor in cost of living than a state like California, it's actually higher than a state like New York. That's very expensive.
Yeah,
to live
that
in.
is New York. Have you ever gone down the street and pulled up like Zillow or something and looked at the prices? I was
It's
looking
crazy.
at
It's
a
mind blowing.
townhome
Yeah.
on the street, street parking. Looks like if you watch the movie Home Alone, that brick home you see is worth like
800, 900,000. Sometimes in the millions.
No, I was just recently in New York. Those are like sometimes 2 to like 6 million right now.
Yeah, they definitely can be.
And again,
They definitely can be. It's probably more.
Ridiculous.
It's been a few years since I've been out there, but yeah.
Yeah, it depends.
Yeah.
And it depends on where you are. The
And I was
closer
in
you get to the
Brooklyn.
city,
Yeah, I was in
worse
Brooklyn.
you get. But if you're right in New York City, close to the park, God bless you.
It's it's
you better be
unlivable.
making.
It's unlivable.
Yep.
And we've talked about this at nausea.
That's unfathomable to me.
Yeah.
You talk about unfathomable. That when I think of that, like, not that I guess the term isn't unfathomable because I can fathom it because I also know how much they're making out there and they're forced to pay because office jobs are different.
But again, it doesn't line up. It doesn't line up across the average.
Right.
It doesn't line up.
That's just crazy to me.
It doesn't line up. And we talked about it at nausea, but it's like, it just shows that throwing money at these problems does not fix the issue. And they don't want to fix the issue. They don't want to. They want to be able to run on it again. And that comes back to what we were saying, where term limit, you got people in office for 40 years, career politicians. That should not be a thing. It should be, this is an interesting idea that just came to me. It should be something, growing up, people would say you should have to do like a year of like retail or like waiting tables because it would give you a different perspective and it would give you
surely did
and it would
me.
be very right, like it's those things that you learn are very important. You see the best of people and you see the absolute worst of people and you see it, and the thing is you see it from any and every race, and then you realize that humans are the fucking same. And it gives you a different kind of perspective because you see black people who don't tip, and then you get a white person who doesn't tip, and then you get an Asian person who doesn't tip, and then you just realize shitty people just don't tip, and they're just shitty.
They're just shitty.
It has nothing to do with where they're from, what they look like.
Well, I do believe
and
where you're from and
there
culture
are
plays a role for sure.
Sure. But on the grand scheme of things, and then you'll get a table right after that. Black couple, they tip 40%. Or you get a white couple, they tip 40%. Or you get an Indian couple or an Asian couple and they tip 40%.
Yep.
And you're like, okay. It's just everybody, right? Yep. And so, growing up, everyone was like, there should be like a mandatory work. Like some countries do mandatory military service, right?
Yep.
Well, then...
There's things that adults don't teach their children, right? It shouldn't even have to be mandatory. That should be something that...
Sure, I don't agree with mandatory, but what I'm getting at is that we should almost even do the same thing with serving your government, whether it's local or federal. Maybe everyone should have to do 2 fucking years, and we just continuously cycle, and you're constantly getting new people in there with different perspectives and different minds, and some are going to be good at it and some are going to be shit. And again, I'm talking in a very like fantasy like generalization, right? But I'm just saying, like, A, I'm sure the job's really hard.
Mhm.
And then B, on top of that, there's bureaucracies that will threaten you, blackmail you, pay you, all of the above to make sure that you do exactly what they want, what they say, everything, the deep state, right? They're going to get what they want. But that doesn't happen if you're constantly revolving the door. You only get that with career politicians.
If you're holding on to something, I mean, hypothetically, right? If I'm holding on to a specific object and I own it for 40 years, you don't think if somebody else came along, I'd be like, no, I have control over that and I'm going to do as I
It's not even that. It's not even just that. It's not even just them. It's the powers holding them there. Like, for instance, Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi just retired at 86 years old. She's worth $260 million. And you're telling me willingly, she chose to work until 86, but you're worth $260 million. You got enough money for you, your family, the next generation, and the following generation to never work again. To never work again, and you chose willingly to work until you're 86. Bullshit. Bullshit. Nobody wants to do that. No. Joe Biden didn't want to be president.
You could have fucking quit even.
He didn't want to be president. He wasn't looking forward to that shit. He wanted to go on the beach and get lost.
Yep.
Like, he didn't want to be there. No, his wife definitely wanted to be there. And the powers of be wanted him there because they knew he wasn't stable mentally and they could do whatever the fuck they want. And that's exactly what they did. And
interesting perspective.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing with Nancy Pelosi and all these other people. Mitch McConnell here. We'll play both sides because they're gonna be like, oh, me. Mitch McConnell.
Right.
You think that motherfucker wants to be freezing up on the stand on camera for the whole world to see?
No.
When you're worth a couple $100 million? No. They're being forced to stay there by the powers with be because they're being either blackmailed, paid for. They want to keep that power. But it's not simply just like they want to stay there. It's a matter of the forces want them to stay there because you, pharmaceutical companies, weapon manufacturers, insurance companies, all these very powerful and very wealthy people, oil companies, they want you to stay there because you're doing their bidding. But if everybody has to cycle in and out every 4 years, even 8,
that's a lot of work.
Doesn't get to happen.
Yeah.
Doesn't get to happen because they can't. Eventually, there's going to be someone in there in that selective seat that's going to be like, no, I'm not playing ball. And then they're going to have to wait 8 years to then play ball with somebody else. And maybe that person won't play ball. And then maybe enough of us, we're becoming more and more aware of this. I think younger kids are waking up to this. I hope.
I think that there's a certain percentage to that generation because then there's other parts of the generation that are then affected by all of the other dumb things that are going on right now, right? Like, for instance, let's use it as an example. Look at the people that come on to, and there's plenty of people that do this, but for instance, Charlie Kirk, how many people go up to him and are spewing things that they don't know enough on, right? And it's all the younger generation for the majority. It's not really a bunch of older generation.
It's because he was primarily on college campuses.
And he was drawing that, yes. But then when you look at a college campus, right? Like, and you look at that, what is the majority? And I think every college is different. But I mean the generation. There are people that are waking up to it and are like, oh, this is, some of these things are bad. But then there's also younger generation that don't understand. And it's becoming worse.
Correct. But I think collectively, if you talk to all of those people, regardless of if they have wacky views or not wacky views, I think collectively, they believe that the system needs to be dumped and restarted. At least, right? I think the majority, might take a little bit of to get that out of sure, right? You're gonna have to kind of dig further and further on some people. Some people have some really wacky ideas, and they think things work in a way that they don't understand. They also don't understand human nature. On top of that, that's why, honestly, I think that's why these conversations can be the most painful, is because people don't understand human nature. When you understand human nature, conspiracy theories, you're like, oh yeah, that definitely happened. That 100% happened, right?
Hold on, wait. What hold on, wait. What conspiracy theories are we let's talking about now?
Let's take the Gulf of Tonkin, for instance, right? The start of the Vietnam War. Gulf of Tonkin happened. The U.S. told the American public that the Vietnamese attacked us. Turns out that wasn't the truth. We attacked them. We started this, which led to the Vietnam War. That, for a long time, was a conspiracy theory. That's no longer a conspiracy. We know that that's what happened. We actually provoked that, and we started it, and that's how the Vietnam War came across. And that's why so many people were really upset about it, because it just wasn't a war that needed to be fought. It just wasn't a thing we needed to have our hand in. We just wasn't, right? Another one, the nuke talk to start the war of Iraq. The weapons of mass destruction that was constantly being thrown around. Okay, when you really look into it, they really didn't have any evidence that that was true at all. And they started a whole war on it. And then you start really looking into it and realizing the very big incentives for us to go over there. The heroin trade, or opium, right? Opium, oil. There's so many incentives for us to keep the Middle East a revolving door because it's such a resource heavy area. So we keep it a revolving door so that way at any moment, at any time, we can go right back to war with them and almost no one questions it. So we keep it a revolving door. We did that with the regime change at the end of the 70s or the 80s or the late 80s, whatever it was, when we changed the regime over in Iran. We changed it over to the regime now that we're told to hate. Like, we put that in place. Like, we did that. So it's like we funded ISIS, or we supplied ISIS, we gave them the guns. We did all that. So we do these things and we keep it as a revolving door. I think it's one of the main reasons why, you start to get into the Israel stuff, and it's one of the reasons why people really can't, or it's the reason why is because we keep that we just want to keep it a revolving door so we can go no matter what. And so that's why, even though we know what's happening in Palestine is pretty fucking awful, you still have people who are extremely pro-Israel. And it's just because we're being propagandized to believe that, because we want to keep that area a revolving door, outside of the fact that they probably have the greatest blackmailer list and the greatest assassins of all time, because they are clearly threatening each and every one of these motherfuckers to continue this insane narrative. But I digress. But that's just how this shit works, right? We left Iraq. We pulled out embarrassingly. My dad served for 20 years. My grandpa did 42. I asked my dad, my grandpa's dead. But I asked my dad, I was like, watching that, how do you feel knowing that you did 5 tours over there? You served this country for 20 years. And he said it was the single most embarrassing day of his life. The pull out of Afghanistan. That's what it was, not Iraq. The pull out of Afghanistan. Watching those people hang from the plane as we're just leaving, knowing that there was 80,000 Afghans that we never gave citizenship to, that we promised because they helped us. Knowing that ISIS was just going to go through and just kill all those people. And then we left behind $6 billion worth of military gear because it was quote unquote cheaper to leave it there than it was to bring it home, which was technically true. And then fucking blow it up, destroy it all then. If you're just going to leave it there anyways, and then to sit there and watch them parade down their streets with our stuff the next year, knowing that we knew that they were going to take right back over. But we pull out embarrassingly. We leave it chaos. ISIS and Al-Qaeda go right back into control. And then 6 months later, we're in Ukraine. It's a fucking game. They play games. That's why the movie War Games. They play games with people's lives, knowing that they don't actually have to do any of it. They play fucking games. And so conspiracy theories, when you just understand human nature, a lot of them, you're like, oh yeah, fuck, of course that's what they did.
When you actually think about that a little bit deeper.
Yeah, it's like, of
learn
course.
a little bit more about it.
It's like, of course that's what they did. Because from a human nature perspective, if I was an evil person or if I was a greedy person or if I was X, Y, and Z, of course that's how I would do it. It's just like right now when we're watching our country just be ripped apart. It's like, oh, this is so fucking obvious. If you just understand human nature, this is a power. This is a power pool. We're seeing it happen to every single Western country all at the same time. It is a goal of a one world government. It's so fucking bloody apparent. It is insanely obvious. And it's to a T exactly how I would do it. It's fucking genius. But it's not at the same time because it's so bloody obvious at the same time. But they have done such a good job of keeping people tired, instant gratified, like fat, unhealthy, all of the above in the system. Reliant on the system. They've done such a good job of keeping people in that, keeping people alive. All these people who are reliant on pharmaceutical companies instead of just taking their health into their own hands and actually just doing something about it, going and working out, eating right, doing a little bit of their own research. All these things. It's just to control every single person. They want one world government. It's very obvious. It's very obvious. If you're paying attention, you're like, oh yeah, for sure. Of course this is what's happening.
But it's like the people that argue about all those singular things, right? Like all the things that we talked about, the people that don't understand those topics and they don't do enough research, right? Like they wouldn't think about all of that being put together, which is why it's the majority. Which is why they are those people. Like, we are that percentage that understands this and is then trying to.
I don't know if I would push back on understand. I don't have a degree in any of this.
For sure.
I don't know that I necessarily even fully understand all of this, but what I do understand.
You can at least try, right?
Correct. I do try. Yeah. I do try.
And that's my point.
And I think human nature is very easy to understand. I don't know what it is with me, but I feel like I understand people very well. And so like I get good reads on people or I get bad reads on people. I feel like it's very easy to understand why somebody does something or doesn't do something. And I get very, very fixated on if someone does something that I can't understand. Right? I think we have someone in our mutual lives right now that is doing something that I genuinely cannot understand. I get super fixated on it because I'm like, whoa, this is completely like the opposite of what I think is like what I would have assumed you would have done.
Right. Or why. Right.
Yeah. And you're trying to find the why and you're trying to understand it.
Yeah. Like,
because it goes against everything that it goes against the norm.
But it also puts into perspective like the difference of people that don't really understand, and this is something that my father kind of taught me as I was growing up, and I was super grateful for. But in different situations, it requires you to act different, of course. But my point is, there are people that do not know how to separate truth and facts versus emotions, right? And when sometimes in certain situations, when those two things get involved,
you have people creating their own truths
and problems. And then,
that too.
Right. So then that's where all of that becomes like us being like, why? It doesn't, we get fixated on it because it doesn't make sense. Because to me, factually, if certain choices are good for you, why wouldn't you pick those, right? So that's obviously why we get fixated on them.
That, and I get so frustrated. There's certain people in my life that if I look at you and I give you a fact and then you come back and say, well, I don't believe that, we're not having the same conversation.
Correct.
And we can't have the same conversation until you come to the ground of, okay, I don't like that it's that way, but I understand now that it is that way. Once we can get to that point, now we can begin to actually have a discussion. But until that happens, there cannot be a discussion because you are living outside of reality.
It's not what you feel.
A lot of people.
I don't care what you feel like.
I don't care.
I don't care. And now, don't get me wrong. We all have moments that we feel this way, or we feel that way, or we want this, or we want that. But at the end of the day, it doesn't mean really that's matter. Right. Just because I got upset over an argument that I had yesterday, if the other person was right and their facts are correct, it doesn't matter how I feel, unfortunately. Yeah. So,
and it goes back to what you were saying about the whole like women voting. Do I think women should vote? Sure. I think everybody should be able to do pretty much everything they want. But if you just strictly just talk about it from a factual, statistic point of view with no opinion, white women are voting majorly Democratic. And it is, or could be potentially, a problem. Because, so, an example. In New York, more people who made over 100,000 voted for Mandami than people who made less than 30 grand.
Wow.
So,
interesting number. I did not know
what does that tell me? Well, really out of touch, out of reality, rich people or wealthy people or people who make more money were voting for a guy and thinking they're going to be helping this crew that makes less than 30 grand. The crew who makes less than 30 grand is screaming at you and telling you, please don't do this because the systems are only getting worse. They're getting more bogged down. Our social safety nets cannot work because they are so bogged down for one reason or another. We can talk about X, Y, and Z, why they're that way. We can have many discussions. But they're telling you and screaming at you that these systems are not working because they're the ones in the fucking system. But you're virtue signaling, sympathetic, non-empathetic, wealthier, out of touch, not dealing with it. You think that voting for it makes you a good person because he's supposed to help those people, and now you feel righteous and virtuous thinking that you're helping those people, but those people are telling you don't fucking do it. But you're not listening because you don't talk to those people because you're out of touch and you make too much goddamn money and you're not even friends with them. Most I don't know a lot of
He's like, how far should we deep dive into another conversation?
Look, I'm just gonna leave it at that. You can extrapolate what you want.
Just means that we gotta come back for a part 2, y'all. So
of course. We'll always do a part 2 because we didn't even talk about you being homeschooled, and I really, really wanted to talk about that. But I don't want the cameras to die or run out of storage because we are filming in 4K for the first time, so I don't want them to run out of storage.
I can actually come back like looking presentable this time.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
damn.
That would be.
No, I respect it. I told you before the podcast. I respect it. I think
that's how I look when I train. So hey.
Well, I think the whole makeup thing is largely propped up by other women because y'all are mean to each other.
So that's actually, I won't deep dive into this, but it's actually interesting. Like, I think from being homeschooled and I think from being in a close-knit group of girls that I've had since I was like 3 years old, and I only have a few newer friends, especially now that I'm in Texas, but that's about to get to my point. Seeing the world out of my close-knit people, and I was still around smart people, but I was around good people.
You're just around they thought they were just like-minded.
And good people. Like going out and I even waited tables. I've worked a little bit in an atmosphere around other people. So I've seen different people. I see the way they react to things. I see decisions made. But going out and actually being around females other than the ones that I'm like typically around and talk to and have conversations with, it's actually crazy. Like some fakeness. Like I hate it. I do. My mom actually, this is something that like I really appreciate from her. And I know she's going to go back and watch this. I love so much that she is just one of those females that has always instilled in me. She hates drama. Like the people that talk about it around her, she's immediately like, oh, well, it's not me. That's just you. I'm just here to listen. But like, she literally will say that and then just walk away. And she's not rude. She'll listen to you if you need, but she doesn't gossip. She doesn't talk shit or gossip. And partially why my dad loves her. But like, that's one of the things that she's always instilled in me. And so like, I hear like girls like gossiping a lot and there's drama or like there's fakeness. And then like, I see some fakeness like recently, like towards me, and I'm like, whoa, what'd I do? Why you females so mean? Why you sneaky? Like, y'all are a little crazy. It's been a little different to me.
Y'all are mean to each other.
I know.
So
and I
mean.
used to be in the dance industry.
Yeah.
So like, I thought it was bad. And then got out into the world and I was like, oh, there's some mean bitches.
Yeah.
I
Spiteful.
still love women. I still have girlfriends.
Of course.
But
of course.
I
But
got
again,
to see some things
there's
like
good
within
and
this
bad.
past
There's
year.
good
I'm
and
like,
bad of all.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, just generally speaking, women are very mean to each other. And that's what I was getting at. I respect you for coming in here, no makeup, being on camera, because again, it's largely propped up by other women. Men, most men, at least, again, the ones that I know.
That's what we should do, like the video caption. What percentage? Take a vote.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah.
Look, correct me if I'm wrong. If you're a man listening to this and you disagree with what I'm about to say, then let me know. Mm-hmm. Most men that I know would much rather their woman have no makeup on or just a little makeup. But when y'all bitches go crazy and you put on a whole different face.
Yeah, that's a little crazy. I try not to do that too much.
Most of the time. That's not like, we wanted nothing to do with that. We wanted nothing to do with it.
And
we're happy that it makes you feel good. Sure, if it makes you feel good, fine. But if you're doing it thinking that's what we want, boy, you are incorrect. You're doing it for other women so that they're not mean to you, so they don't judge you, so they don't say X, Y, and Z.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Hey.
She thought I was knocking on the door. I'm sorry, girl.
And so, yeah, that's just how I see it. That's how I've always seen it.
No, I've been
always
told that.
gravitated towards women who wear little to no makeup, because that's just it's just better for your skin. You don't have to worry about going to sleep with all that shit on and then waking up and it's all crusty and disgusting on your face and then it's terrible for your skin, Who knows, God, what else is in there today, especially using these major brands. I'm sure there's a bunch of bullshit in there that's just terrible for you in general, probably messing with your hormone system, messing with your endocrine system, X, Y, and Z. I'm sure there's a whole rabbit hole that I could go down. But the fact of the matter is, it's mostly just women against women.
That's a good perspective because I have been told that before. Like, I mean, obviously my boyfriend now, he's like, I love you without makeup. He's like, I do not need you to wear makeup. You look gorgeous in the morning with no makeup on. And I'm like, oh, that's really sweet. But in the back of my head, I'm like, how much of that do you actually need? I'm like, so if the poll says
that is propagated by y'all's own self.
Hey,
it just is.
I'm open to it. I've heard it. So if the poll says it, I'm here for it.
All right, you heard it. Poll, let us know.
Yes.
I expect a full poll, synopsis, the whole 9 yards. Let us know your thoughts. Let's get the fuck out of here. I got to pee again, unfortunately. I got a bladder of a 2-year-old. I drank the whole damn thing. She gave me this big ass cup and I drank it all. I couldn't help myself.
Dirty chai was banging.
Boy, it gave you that look, but it gave you that extra little oomph.
I need this before training 2 times a day. That's what I need.
Boy, Autumn, I'm very proud of what you've done since you've gotten here.
Thanks.
And
I appreciate
your parents did a fucking hell of a job raising you. You are a wonderful human.
I appreciate it.
Thank you for babysitting the kid.
Always. She's amazing. You guys
thanks for just always being awesome. Thanks for being a good training partner.
besides ripping your heel off.
Yeah, just thanks for not breaking my leg ever. I'm very excited to see where all this goes. I think you have what it takes, at least from a mental capacity, whether or not it ever works out from a talent perspective or whatever. I think whatever you set your mind to, you will get it done. Even if it's not jiu-jitsu or if it ends up being something else or whatever the fuck it is, it doesn't matter. You're going to do it and you're gonna put a lot of effort into it. And that's all, at the end of the day, that's all that you can do, is do what you want to do, follow your heart, and give it your all. And it's either gonna work or not gonna work, and that's okay. But you're gonna be able to live with yourself, be able to put your head on your fucking pillow, go to sleep at night knowing you did the damn thing. So
That is facts, ladies and gentlemen.
so keep doing
Thank
it.
you.
Keep going. Keep competing.
Means a lot.
Keep training. I know it's hard. It's always going to be hard.
You
But
pick
it's
your
so
hard.
much better than the alternative.
Pick your hard.
Do your fucking thing. Keep going. And we'll see you next time. Deuces, y'all. Whoop you guys.